I have a planetary system. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 276. Inquiries from all sides. The next morning, the 6 people went online at the agreed time. After logging in, they received a system announcement. As masters in Planet, they would read every announcement of the game carefully. After reading it, the 6 people felt that it was not a simple announcement, but more like a last words. The world channel was constantly refreshed with players' feedback on the announcement. On the cross-server channel, players from various servers with extra souls were joking with each other and discussing the content of the announcement. This announcement doesn't look like it's going to launch version 3.0. Why do I feel like I'm going to cancel the server? Is it because the capital chain of the Black and White company is broken? Can't pay wages? I said a long time ago that it's unrealistic to generate electricity with love. It's like writing a novel without rewards and reading volume. Which author is so stupid that he would keep writing like this? Yes, there are. I know an author named Killer who does this. Shouldn't we pay attention to the content of the announcement? Black and White company must not go bankrupt. I can't find another game as awesome as Planet. Not only the players in the game felt strange, but other internet and financial companies that were paying close attention to Black and White company and Planet also inquired about the situation as soon as possible. If Black and White company was really due to capital chain problems, then they would have a chance to enter the market. Even if they wanted to give money, they would ask for some shares of Black and White company. Yang Yifu, on behalf of his father, called Bai Bing as soon as possible to inquire about the situation. Black and White company is now one of the facades of Yangcheng, making hundreds of millions of players around the world focus on Yangcheng. Because of this, the official contacted Yang Yifu's father privately several times, urging him to keep an eye on Black and White company and Bai Bing. Yang Yifu's father's unit now almost worships Black and White company as a bodhisattva, giving it whatever it wants. Now that Black and White company suddenly made such an announcement, the heads of the relevant departments in Yangcheng called Pengcheng and Huan Yiwei as soon as possible to inquire about what was going on. The 2 who had just returned to the company did not know that Bai Bing had done this and were questioned and speechless. They made 1,000 assurances and declared that there was no problem with Black and White company and finally coaxed the head. On behalf of the military, Zhang Yi also called Bai Bing privately. As the best quality virtual scene network company in China, the various 1:1 real battles developed around the world have really made a qualitative leap in the military's combat capability, and also let the top military leaders know about this small company with only one game. If there is any negative news or financial problems that cause operating difficulties in the Black and White company, there is no need to communicate with each other. It is estimated that the leaders of each military region will agree to increase the funding and ensure the improvement of the soldiers' combat capability. In the minds of the big guys, it doesn't matter if the money is spent, as long as a soldier's ability is guaranteed. Less sacrifice, more training, everything will be fine. Bai Bing can be perfunctory to Yang Yifu, but to Zhang Yi, Bai Bing doesn't want to be perfunctory, because once there is an emergency on Blue Star, Bai Bing doesn't know how to make him believe it at that time. Don't think he is a lunatic. Faced with Zhang Yi's concern, Bai Bing was silent for a long time, and the other party was also very patient and didn't urge him. Bai Bing finally spoke. Let me ask you a question. Zhang Yi, you tell me. Bai Bing, if China, or even the entire Blue Star, is suddenly invaded by a group of crazy guys, they are unreasonable, only have killing in their eyes, and there is no possibility of any communication, what will you do? Zhang Yi, just like the races in your game? Bai Bing, yes. Zhang Yi smiled. Brother Bai Bing, are you a little obsessed with studying the game? I think you need a good rest. Bai Bing laughed at himself. I also hope that I'm obsessed, but I'm still very curious. If it was your military, what would you do? Zhang Yi replied, there is a country before there is a home, and vice versa. There is a country before there is a home. When the people are hurt, we have only one answer, and that is to kill them. Bai Bing asked again, what if the other side is invincible? Zhang Yi, didn't you just say it? They are unreasonable, only have killing in their eyes, and there is no possibility of any communication. Bai Bing, then will you run away? Zhang Yi smiled. We will let the people escape, but the Chinese soldiers will never escape. Bai Bing suddenly said, thank you, your answer is very helpful to me. Zhang Yi was silent for a while, and suddenly asked, are you sure everything is okay? Bai Bing suddenly laughed and said, you have arranged 14 comrades to protect me around the clock. You should know whether I'm okay or not. Zhang Yi asked in a cold voice, how do you know? Bai Bing replied calmly, you underestimate me too much. I can complete such a large virtual scene in a short time. It is normal for you to pay attention to every move around me. I guess if you were not afraid that I would find out, you would want to live next door to me. The reason why Bai Bing made this clear was that Blue Star did not have much time left. The military would get more and more information in the future. When facing the void and the abyss, they would naturally focus on themselves. It didn't matter if you said more now. Zhang Yi said slowly, your community has one apartment per floor, and there are no opposite doors. However, we did underestimate you. Bai Bing, don't worry, it's okay for you to watch. I don't mind, as long as it doesn't disturb my normal life. Zhang Yi, I'm sorry, but you are an important talent in our country. We must ensure your personal safety, and there are other considerations. No mistakes. 1 post, 1 content, 1619, 1 book, 1 bar. Bai Bing, I understand. I have a private matter. I hope you can help. Zhang Yi, you go. Bai Bing, my relatives in my hometown. I hope you can send someone to protect their safety, no matter what the situation. Zhang Yi immediately asked, what on earth happened to you? Someone threatened you? You know that the Chinese military is not afraid of any person, organization, group, gang, or even other country. Bai Bing said slowly, you will know later. Okay, thank you for your concern. I need to rest for a while. After that, he hung up the phone. Zhang Yi was stunned for a moment after hearing the dead tone on the phone. Then he immediately made a call and ordered into the phone, keep an eye on Bai Bing 24 hours a day. Also, I want everyone he has come into contact with in the past month. Everything that happened. Even the information of people entering and leaving his community or company. Report it to me. After hanging up the phone, he hesitated for a moment, then made another call, and said into the phone, send someone to Bai Bing's hometown, to implement level 2 protection for his family, until I get new orders. Liang Ting is the commander of the Chinese server, and her teammates are all well-known and powerful players in the server. They looked at each other in bewilderment. This announcement was indeed strange. Lan Zifeng said, it can't be because of the capital chain problem. The game planet is too amazing. If it's because of lack of money, as long as the Black and White company opens its mouth, there will definitely be countless capital giants begging for money. Liang Ting nodded. Our family has some business dealings with the Black and White company, and we have not received any negative news about the Black and White company. Yi Jian, Zhao Yu, He Yang, Nang Jun, and Lan Zifeng all looked at Liang Ting in astonishment. Liang Ting wondered, why are you looking at me like that? Fuck, your family actually has business dealings with the Black and White company? I didn't realize it. Our commander is a rich woman. Grandma, are you still missing a pendant on your leg? I always thought that except for me, the rest of the team are poor losers. I didn't expect it. I made a mistake. Are you human? A strange voice and unsociable content were introduced. The 6 people immediately looked in the direction of the voice vigilantly, only to see a dirty macaque with golden fur all over its body appear at the corner, staring at them with excitement. Chapter 277, Gibbon, Ape, 4 Divine Monkeys, Realm, Peak of Shengming. Several people looked at the macaque in front of them in surprise. Why is the ape in the 6th Dragon Emperor's tomb? Is there a possibility that this guy is trapped here? No way. A person with the strength of the Peak of Shengming is trapped. The 4th Dragon Emperor is only at the Peak of Shengming now. Why don't you go up and ask? Knowing that the person who came was one of the 4 Divine Monkeys, everyone let down their guard. Liang Ting stepped forward and asked, Senior, why are you here? Ape, I can't find the exit. This place is too big. You haven't answered me yet. Are you human? Liang Ting hurriedly answered, yes, we are all human. Ape was ecstatic. Great. How is it outside now? How is the battle between Colossal and the void in the abyss? Everyone was stunned by the question of the ape. Why would this guy ask such a question? The war between Colossal and the other two worlds happened then years ago. Could this guy really be trapped here all the time? Liangting replied, it has been countless years since the battle between Colossal and the other two worlds. We don't know the exact time. Senior, don't you know? Tang B8 Monkey said as a matter of course. How should I know? I have been trapped in this damn space for so many years. I can't find the exit. Zhao Mu couldn't help asking, how could it be Senior? You are at the peak of Shengming realm. Can't you just break the space forcibly? Tang B8 Monkey was puzzled. How do you know that I'm at the peak of Shengming realm? Do you know me? Liangting nodded. Of course, the other three monkeys have mentioned you, and it is said that you are as powerful as Lingming Stone Monkey. Lingming Stone Monkey has the strength of the peak of Shengming, and Senior must have it too. Tang B8 Monkey laughed. I didn't expect that there are creatures in the human race who know of my existence. Stop talking nonsense. Take me to find the exit quickly. I don't want to be trapped in this damn space anymore. Liangting was embarrassed, but Senior, we don't know where the exit is. Tang B8 Monkey was stunned. Then how did you get in? He Yang, I paid to get in. Tang B Monkey? Liangting glared at He Yang and asked, Senior, you have reached a certain realm. The 6th Dragon Emperor's space should not be able to trap you. Tang B Monkey gritted his teeth and said, other Dragon Emperors really can't trap me, but the 6th Dragon Emperor is good at space magic. He really trapped me. You actually knew that this is the 6th Dragon Emperor's space, and yet you dared to come in? Everyone was silent. They were kidding. What's there to be afraid of? We are not afraid of being poor, so why should we be afraid of a copy? Liangting said, Senior, let's find an exit together. Tang B8 nodded hurriedly. Okay. After countless years, we finally have a human race to talk to. Just follow me. I will definitely protect you. Yi Jian suddenly interrupted. Senior, you have a really good attitude. You have been trapped for so long, and you are still like a normal person. Nothing happened. Tang B8 grinned. Nothing. I will get over it after a few sleeps, but for so many years, the most tormenting thing for me is that I can only rely on living creatures in the void. My appetite is so dry. Everyone said he, and didn't say anything. You have a really heavy taste. Liangting continued to ask, Senior, you have been trapped here for so long. Don't you have any idea about the exit? Tang B8 shook his head. I really can't find the exit, but I know where the gate to the palace is. Do you want to go? Everyone. Gate. What gate? Seeing the puzzled faces of several humans, the gibbon monkey shouted excitedly. You don't know? Great. Come on. I'll tell you. It can be seen that this guy's not in a good mood, but rather has a big nerve. He has been bored to death and has developed a chatterbox disease. Tang B8 immediately said, speaking of which, we have to start with the origin of the 6th Dragon Emperor's space. This space was originally the space belonging to the 6th Dragon Emperor, and only the 6th Dragon Emperor himself could control it. At that time, as the 6th Dragon Emperor who was in the realm of killing a corpse, and was very good at space magic, he relied on this space to protect countless creatures in Colossal during the battle between Colossal and the Void Abyss. At that time, the other Dragon Emperors were extremely dissatisfied with the 6th Dragon Emperor, and ordered the 6th Dragon Emperor to open the space and slaughter the creatures inside. However, the 6th Dragon Emperor was unwilling to slaughter, and relied on space skills to leave. The other Dragon Emperors were also unwilling to kill him, because of their fellow clansmen, so they did not fight to stop him. You must be curious about how I know, right? It doesn't matter, I can tell you. Everyone muttered in their hearts, we are not curious. However, they still smiled at each other. There was no way. They had to get the information about the city gate from the Tang B8. Damn this chatterbox. The gibbon monkey was very satisfied with the human race's reaction and continued. At that time, I followed the instructions of the six-eared macaque and chose to hide from the world. But am I a gibbon monkey who is afraid of trouble? No, I'm not. So I immediately ran to Mission Terminus with my old friend, who was the god of war in heaven at that time, Yang Jian. Everyone, Don't think I don't know. You are going to mission to cause trouble for Yang Jian. Reminiscing about the past. No mistake. One post, one content, one book, one forum, 1619, one book, one forum, one look. On the way, I met the 6th Dragon Emperor and the descendant of the Arrow God. I was about to go up and say hello, but I heard their conversation. I didn't hear it clearly. They were two beings who killed a corpse. I didn't dare to get too close. I just vaguely heard something like 2nd Dragon Emperor, rescue, seal, fight and so on. Then the 6th Dragon Emperor ran away, and his descendants chased after him. I didn't care. I wanted to run to mission to fight with Yang Jian. No, it was to reminisce about the past. Then his henchman Roaring Skydog told me that Yang Jian and other guys from the Heavenly Court surrounded and suppressed the 2nd Dragon Emperor of the Void. When I heard that there was a fight, of course I couldn't miss it. Then I followed Roaring Skydog's instructions and went to the vicinity of an abyss crack. I found that the 2nd Dragon Emperor was severely injured by two great emperors of the Heavenly Court and was about to be suppressed. At this time, the 6th Dragon Emperor arrived and used his space magic to forcibly transfer the 2nd Dragon Emperor away. The Emperor was ready to kill the 6th Dragon Emperor, but Hawaii came out and said something to the two emperors. In the end, Hawaii used his heart power to turn arrows and shot a shocking arrow that pierced the 6th Dragon Emperor's heart. After the 6th Dragon Emperor was severely injured, he summoned a space and hid inside, and Hawaii followed him in. But what I didn't expect was that Yang Jian also followed Hawaii into the space. I saw that it was impossible. I came here specifically to fight Yang Jian, to reminisce about the past, and seeing him come in, of course I had to follow him in. Who knew that after entering, there was nothing except some void creatures. I searched for a long time before I found that there were countless small spaces in the space of the 6th Dragon Emperor. I fumbled for a long time before I figured it out. Each small space had a city gate. I wanted to tear down the city gate at that time, but I found that only the three religions of Jiazhao and the Void Dragon Emperor could open the city gate. Everyone looked at each other. No wonder I didn't see other players for so long in the dungeon. It seems that they were teleported to small spaces. Tang B8 Sundeer said, how about it? Do you want to open the city gate with me? Believe me, I think I can let you walk out alive and unscathed. Everyone, haha, are you sure it's not? Because only the human race, one of the three religions, can open the city gate. Senior, do you know what's behind the city gate? I don't know. Is the exit of that space inside the city gate? I don't know. Then do you know where Yang Jian is? I don't know. Everyone, haha. Then do you know your name? I don't know. I know. My name is Yuan Hang. Chapter 278, Palace. Yuan Hang? Why does this name sound so familiar? Who cares who he is? Let's hurry to the so-called city gate. Yuan Hang was extremely excited along the way. It was not known whether it was because he had been lonely for too long and met a living being that could speak, or because the human race was one of the three religions and could open the city gate. Although Yuan Hang looked unreliable, he had stayed in the space for countless years and knew the surrounding environment very well. He kept introducing the skeletons and interesting things in the space to the few people. Look at those void creatures. When Jiazhao was at war with the Void, these guys were the protectors of the creatures in the space, but now they have fallen to the point of becoming zombies. Also, look at those void creatures bound by silver chains. They are the guardians of the city gates. It may be because the 6th Dragon Emperor did not want them to open the city gates, so he used silver chains to trap them, so that they could not leave a specific range. The closer you are to the city gates, the more void creatures there are. Of course, there are also guardians of the city gates, but there are generally no other skeleton creatures near those guardians, although I don't know why. Although Yuan Hang was very talkative, several people were still able to obtain some useful information about the 6th Dragon Emperor's tomb copy during his nagging. All the skeleton creatures encountered on the road, even if they had no reason and could not communicate, were more sensitive to the breath. All the skeleton creatures of the Yunlong clan chose to avoid Yuan Hang after encountering him, and Yuan Hang was not surprised. Liang Ting suddenly asked, Senior Yuan Hang, you have been trapped here for such a long time. What do you do when you are hungry? What do you eat? Yuan Hong answered as a matter of course. I don't need to eat food, but after a long time, my mouth itched, so I caught some void creatures and absorbed their spiritual energy, but it's not delicious. Liang Ting nodded, thoughtfully. He Yang and Zhao Mu, as the most active players in the team, were very interested in Yuan Hong's carefree personality, so they came up to chat with Yuan Hong. Senior Yuan Hong, according to legend, you fought with the Lingming stone monkey Sun Wukong? Is it true? Fighting is normal. We often fight, but once Lingming told me that he met a man who was very good at fighting and said he couldn't beat him. That guy is Yang Jian, right? Yes, I heard that he was the god of war in heaven, so I immediately went to fight him. If I beat him, it means that I'm better than Lingming. So who won in the end? Let's not talk about this. The city gate is not far ahead. Everyone. So you lost. Several people came to a simple and dilapidated gate. There was no wall or building around it. There was only a lonely door standing in one place, which looked very abrupt. When they touched it, the system immediately prompted, Palace Gate, activated to enter the palace of the 6th Dragon Emperor's tomb. Opening condition, 6 players need to touch at the same time. 6 players need to touch at the same time. It seems that the experience of this dungeon before is just 4 players to brush experience, soul value and honor value. The true face of the dungeon is inside the city gate. This mechanism directly divides the strength of the 4th level players. If you want to enter the palace, you must be intact all the way to open it. If you lose a team member, you can just brush monsters outside. It is a very humane dungeon. Everyone looked at each other and chose to reach out and touch the city gate. Under Yuan Hong's excited gaze, the 6 people's hands just approached the city gate. The surrounding environment and the realization suddenly distorted. Several people seemed to fall from a height of 10,000 meters and kept spinning. The picture they saw was like the drum in a washing machine. After a few seconds of rotation, it stabilized. What came into view was a beautiful landscape painting, a verdant environment, endless green fields, clear streams, towering trees, and a majestic but dim palace in the distance. Inside the palace, the 6th Dragon Emperor and Hao Yi opened their eyes at the same time, looking gloomily in the direction where the human race and Yuan Hong appeared. Hao Yi said solemnly, why did the Dragon Emperor appear here? The 6th Dragon Emperor, in this space, no creature can resist him, including you, me, and the human race. Hao Yi suddenly remembered something, and then gritted his teeth, and asked the 6th Dragon Emperor, is the key of the void in your hand? The 6th Dragon Emperor remained silent. Hao Yi frowned, give me the key, or destroy it yourself. The 6th Dragon Emperor did not answer, and Hao Yi continued, it seems that you have made a choice. Unfortunately, I'm only a soul now, otherwise, I would kill you right now. The 6 people and Yuan Hong stood on the hillside, looking around with curiosity. This place is too beautiful, even more unreal than Wuyi. If you develop real estate here, you will probably make a lot of money. Come on, real estate is booming everywhere now, so of course we should choose a resort. If Disney builds a farmhouse here, Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck will probably have to be the guests. Aren't those two always the guests? Yuan Hong looked at the palace with swollen eyes. His original carefree personality seemed solemn at this time. He pointed at the palace and said, inside the palace, I felt the breath of the 6th Dragon Emperor and his descendants. Yi Jian asked, didn't you say before that Yang Jian also entered the space? Didn't you feel it? Yuan Hong turned around and looked at everyone, smiling and saying nothing. Liang Ting suddenly said, or, Yang Jian didn't come in at all, that was just a story you made up, so that it would be more reasonable for you to appear in the 6th Dragon Emperor's space? What do you mean? Everyone looked at Liang Ting. Yuan Hong laughed loudly, what are you talking about? I saw Yang Jian come in with my own eyes. Otherwise, why would I come in, when I have nothing to do? Liang Ting walked over her teammates and said, when I got the 4th job, I looked up the information about the 4 divine monkeys, because of the inheritance. Of course, you don't need to know what the 4th job is. You just need to know that I accidentally learned some information about you while looking up the 4 divine monkeys. I don't understand it. According to legend, Tang Biape is the secret disciple of Tang Shenjiaozu, the saint of Jijiao. He is as good as the Monkey King Sun Wukong and Yang Jian. Even Guanyin can't do anything about this creature. How could he be trapped in the space of the severely injured 6th Dragon Emperor? What makes me most surprised is that Tang the ape was killed by Jiang Ziya with the immortal flying knife of Saint Lu Ya. Why do you still appear in front of us? Yuan Hang smiled and stared at Liang Ting. You humans are still so smart. When did you doubt me? Liang Ting, I have met many sealed or trapped creatures, and your reaction is very different from this. Also, you keep saying that you are looking for an exit, but your obsession with the city gate is particularly obvious, and you don't look like you are in a hurry to escape. Also, when we asked you what your name was, you subconsciously told us that you didn't know, and then told me that your name was Yuan Hang. And the most important point is that the Yunlong clan, a group of irrational void creatures, have no reason and only know how to kill. But after meeting you, they actually chose to leave. Yuan Hang, if I'm not a Tang the ape, who else do you think I could be? Liang Ting's eyes were firm. One is that you are the enemy of the 6th Dragon Emperor and came here to seek revenge. The other is, you are one of the Dragon Emperors of the Void. Yuan Hang laughed. Why can't you be his enemy? Liang Ting smiled. Do I need to explain it clearly? If you are an enemy, those void creatures of the Cloud Dragon clan would have attacked you long ago. And if I'm not mistaken, the group of void creatures trapped by the silver chains did not want to enter the city gate, but to prevent certain creatures from entering the city gate, so they were trapped by the 6th Dragon Emperor, and were not allowed to leave a specific range. Chapter 279, The 5th Dragon Disher. Liang Ting's words not only shocked her teammates, but even Yuan Hang clapped his hands and praised. You are the smartest human creature I have ever seen. Liang Ting asked back arrogantly, no one else? Yuan Hang suddenly summoned a stick and muttered to himself, I originally kept the Tang the ape's one key water and fire stick to continue to deceive you. After all, I don't know if I need your help to enter the palace, but you actually told me the truth, so I can only kill all of you humans. Liang Ting was not panicked. It was just a matter of dying. It was a common occurrence. Since you plan to kill us all, can you let us die with understanding? Yuan Hang smiled and nodded. Of course. I like to communicate with smart creatures. Liang Ting asked, who are you? Yuan Hang gradually transformed into a middle-aged man wearing a blue scale robe, with 2 long black whiskers on his upper lip. My name is Shia. You guessed it right. I'm indeed one of the Dragon Emperors of the Void. I'm the 5th Dragon Emperor of the Void. Shah, the 5th Dragon Emperor of the Void realm. Behead 1 corpse. Looking at Shia's original face, Liang Ting continued to ask, 5th Dragon Emperor, Shia. Then why did you come to the 6th Dragon Emperor's space? Shia smiled and said, Milano has the key to the hub of the 2 worlds of Void and Jiazhao. As long as I get the key, I can force the hub to open and connect the Void with the Jiazhao world. At that time, the Void will arrive in the Jiazhao world again. Senior, you are the 5th Dragon Emperor of the Void, and you are of the same clan as the 6th Dragon Emperor. Why don't you just let the 6th Dragon Emperor give you the key? Shia played with the yucky water and fire stick in her hand, and said hatefully, what about Milano? His strength is not very good, but his compassion is ridiculous. He actually pities the creatures of your Jiazhao world. It's ridiculous. If it weren't for his superb spatial ability, he probably wouldn't have a place for the position of Dragon Emperor. Several people didn't expect that there would be such a melon to eat between the Dragon Emperors. Liang Ting said, since the 6th Dragon Emperor is unwilling to hand over the key, I believe that the senior has no better way. Shia nodded. You are right. If Milano is determined not to hand over the key, I naturally can't do anything. But if I kill him in his space, it will be much easier. This answer really shocked the few people who were extremely receptive. He Yang said, you two are Dragon Emperors, so it's so easy to kill? Shia waved her hand. It's okay, if it's outside the space, I naturally dare not. I will be discovered, but I have to maintain a kind image, not to mention, Milano saved the life of the 2nd Dragon Emperor. If the 2nd Dragon Emperor knew about it, I would be strangled to death by him. But in his space, there is naturally no problem. Kill you and then kill him, and naturally no one will know. Well, do you have any questions you want to know? Ask them all at once. I can answer them before I die. Maybe because he thought it was a creature that he hadn't communicated with for too long. The 5th Dragon Emperor Shia was very generous and told him everything he knew about the hostile human race. Liang Ting asked, didn't the war between Jiao and the Void countless years ago end? Why are there still so many dragon emperors in our world? Shouldn't you go back? Shai laughed and said, what makes you have this illusion that our dragon emperors have returned to the Void? Our 6 dragon emperors, except for the first dragon emperor, the rest of them are still in your Jiao world. Liang Ting nodded, then stared at Shire. The last question, is the highest combat power in the Void your dragon emperor? Liang Ting not only wanted to know this question, but even her teammates were curious. Shire looked at the human in front of her, as if she was looking at a mentally retarded person. I praised you for your intelligence before, but I didn't expect you to ask such a stupid question. The destruction of the passage between the Void and the Abyss was achieved at the cost of the names of 2 saints from your Jiao. Do you think that the most powerful creature in the Void is only the Dragon Emperor? Although several people were mentally prepared, they were still a little shocked when they received the feedback. It seems that the 3.0 version of Planet is really hell level. Shire simply said, in the Void, above the Dragon Emperor, there is the Dragon Mother, and above the Dragon Mother, there is the Dragon Emperor. Okay, I have answered all the questions you want to know. Excuse me, can I kill you? Liang Ting and her teammates looked at each other and were about to speak when He Yang suddenly said, well, Boss Shire, since we are all going to die, can you lend me your yicky water and fire stick to let me see? I like sticks. Shire was a little confused about the human race's request, but he didn't care as he always claimed to be kind. Anyway, it was just a weapon of the Tongbi ape. Apart from being a little harder, it posed no threat to him. He threw the mist to He Yang, who took it and played with it excitedly. Liang Ting knew what He Yang was thinking about and looked at him speechlessly. You are really something to take advantage of at this time. Shai looked at Liang Ting. Let you start first, okay? Liang Ting smiled and replied, yes please senior. Shai was not used to the human race's reaction. Hey, I'm going to kill you, that's it? And you are so polite. You don't respect me at all. Take a look at the 6 to 9 book forum. When Liang Ting was still curious about how the creatures in the corpse killing realm acted, a blue light circle appeared under her feet, and then she received a system prompt that she had been killed. From the perspective of her teammates, the commander was shattered into pieces by the blue light gushing out of the blue light circle. Lan Zifeng raised his hand quickly. Boss, can I also die in this way? It doesn't look too painful. Shire was speechless. She could even make a request. It seems that there is no legend of my brother in the world. Now she has no deterrent power at all? Exclamation mark. Without waiting for Lan Zifeng to react, Shire had already appeared in front of him and gently tapped the forehead of the human race with her index finger, and Lan Zifeng dissipated instantly. Shire smiled and said, do you have any other requirements for death? Yi Jian muttered, hurry up, you're so long-winded. Zhao Mu nodded, that's right, you're such a chatterbox. How about we thank you in advance for killing us? Silly. Amitabha, I almost swore. Nang Jun sighed, why don't my teammates have any desire to survive? Although it's a game, you can't be so undignified. You will die. How can I resist? Seeing the 3 human races so disdainful of herself, Shire, who had been smiling, also became gloomy. She waved her hand and slapped the heads of the 3 people with lightning speed, then looked at the last human who was playing with a water and fire stick, and asked, are you done? Seeing that the human race in front of him was not sad at all about the death of his own people, and was still playing with weapons with excitement, Shire was very confused. Are all human races like this now? He Yang looked up at Shire, and without saying anything, he put the fire and water stick into his backpack and said, okay, go ahead, please be gentle. Shire was stunned for a moment. Where is my weapon? He Yang smiled and said, look at what you said. This weapon clearly belonged to the gibbon. When did it become yours? Can anyone prove it? Shire sighed and said with heartache, forget it, I'll kill you anyway, and I'll look for it from your corpse. Now that your human race has changed, I'm not used to it. He Yang smiled and wanted to touch the corpse. What was he thinking? The last words of Shire that He Yang heard before he hung up. Oh, by the way, the information you humans checked was wrong. The gibbon is not dead yet. Chapter 280, Mother of Dragons. While He Yang was still confused and thinking that it was none of his business whether the gibbon monkey was still alive or not, the system suddenly prompted that he had been killed and had been forced offline. The 5th Dragon Emperor Shire looked at He Yang's body, stepped forward and pointed, and the body automatically floated up. Among the 6 people, only He Yang was not turned into powder by the 5th Dragon Emperor Shire in order to take back the Yiki water and fire stick from him. As a result, he found that there was nothing on the body. Shire was puzzled. Where is my stick? Just as Shire was confused, He Yang's body gradually turned into nothingness and disappeared. The 5th Dragon Emperor Shire stared. Who could have taken this human corpse away from him without him noticing? Are there other creatures with strengths comparable to mine in this space? Or was it the 6th Dragon Emperor Milano who did it? Looking at the direction of the palace in the distance, Shire's body disappeared and appeared inside the palace the next second. He raised his head and sniffed with his nose. The 2 whiskers above his lips kept swaying. Then he looked in one direction, smiled and said to himself, I found you, Milano. The 6th Dragon Emperor Milano and his descendants were staring at each other, and no one spoke. Milano suddenly said, the invading guy's already outside the door. This time, I should die, and you will be buried with me. His face was heavy, not because he was about to disappear, but because he could never have imagined that the key to open the void had always been in the hands of the guy in front of him who he had been with day and night. The door was gradually opened, and the 5th Dragon Emperor Shire walked in slowly. At first glance, he saw his fellow tribesmen sitting in the center, breathing in less than breathing out. Then he saw the descendant of the arrow god in the corner, and joked with interest, you two are still alive. The descendant stared at Shire. Shire felt the hatred of the descendant, and said with a sigh, don't look at me like that, we are old friends. You come up with such murderous intent, which is not friendly at all. Descendant, I didn't expect that you have been staying in this space for countless years. You are really patient. Shire smiled and said, are you surprised? Let me tell you, I have been bored for so many years. Now I finally meet 2 old acquaintances. I really can't bear to kill you for a while. The 6th Dragon Emperor Milano smiled and said nothing. For the key. The 5th Dragon Emperor Shire turned around and stared at Milano. The key is in your hand. Are you going to give it to me, or do you want me to do it myself? Milano said fearlessly, you should know that, even if you kill me, you can't get the key. I won't be stupid enough to leave the key where you can find it. Shire rubbed his beard, it's really a trouble. After killing you, I have to find ways to break through the setup space to find the key and find the exit to leave your space. You are worthy of being the Dragon Emperor who is best at spatial ability under the Dragon Mother. He saw that there was a discord between the 2 Dragon Emperors, and Milano did not want to give the key to Shire. He was relieved and said, whether you take action or not, it can't change the result. The 2 of us are creatures who are going to die. Shire turned around and looked at Hawaii. Then what do you say? What should we do? Or, how can you give me the key? Milano said indifferently, put away your tricks, Shire. We know each other's character very well. The moment you stepped into my space, I knew that I would die. I will not give you the key unless the 2nd Dragon Emperor or the Dragon Mother asks for it herself. After hearing Milano's assurance, Haoyi was completely relieved and looked at Shire with a smile. It was nothing more than death. Shire said to herself, yes, among the few of us, the 2nd Dragon Emperor Lantada has the best relationship with you. Otherwise you would not have risked your life to save him. If I kill you, I can't get out, but if I don't kill you, I can't get the key, and the void can't be opened naturally. But if I kill you, I have to search for you in many spaces one by one, which is really troublesome. Milano looked at Shire muttering to herself, and had a bad premonition in his heart. He knew the character of the Dragon Emperor in front of him too well. He was hypocritical, murderous, dark, and would do anything to achieve his goal. When the 5th Dragon Emperor Shire appeared in front of him, Milano knew that the other party must have a backhand, but he didn't know what it was. But it didn't matter. He had already thrown out the bottom line. Unless the 2nd Dragon Emperor Lantada or the Dragon Mother spoke up, Milano didn't believe that his friend or the Dragon Mother would appear in this place. Shire suddenly raised her head, looking proud, and said, if that's the case, then I can only let my mother tell you herself. In the surprised looks of Milano and his descendants, The fifth Dragon Emperor Shire suddenly burst out with a very familiar aura. Milano and his descendants looked incredible. How could it be possible? Why would the Dragon Mother appear here? Question mark? Milano sensed that the familiar aura of Shire was constantly changing, which made Milano think that his mother was standing in front of him. The descendants were surprised, because creatures of the level of the Void Dragon Mother could not appear in Jiuzhou. Even countless years ago, several emperors did not give up an inch of land, and tried their best to prevent this level of void creatures from entering the territory of Jiuzhou. After a few breaths of time, Shire, who originally disgusted the two, had calmed down, and looked up at Milano in confusion. "Son," Milano said in a trembling voice. "Mother." Shire showed a kind smile. "You have suffered for so many years. You should not have to bear this sin. No mistake. One post, one content, 1619, one book, one bar." Milano forced himself to calm down. "Mother, why are you here?" Milano knew very well that the Shire in front of him was his mother. He was very familiar with his mother's breath. Besides, no matter how great Shire's ability was, she could not imitate her mother. Shire slowly walked forward and gently stroked Milano's hair. "Son, your injury is too serious. My real body is not in Jiuzhou, and I can't help you survive. I'm sorry." Milano didn't care about his own life, but still chased and asked, "Mother, why are you here?" The descendant also wanted to know the answer, staring at Shire. Shire smiled and said, "Among my sons, Shire is the most changeable. I once injected one of my original blood into his body to prevent any unexpected situation. Now it seems that my backup plan was right." Milano gritted his teeth and said, "Mother, you injected a portion of the original blood into Shire's body, which will make him." Before Milano finished speaking, Shire interrupted, "I know what the result will be. It's just that he will die younger." After explaining, Shire continued, "Son, you saved Lantader's life. I thank you on his behalf." Milano heard the name of the second Dragon Emperor and asked, "Where is that guy Lantader?" Shire shook her head. "You know, your brother has always been very rebellious. He doesn't even listen to me, his mother. I don't know where he is now, but I can be sure that he is still in Jiuzhou." He didn't know what the follow-up of the war between Jiuzhou and the Void would be, but he was shocked to hear that the second Dragon Emperor was still in Jiuzhou. Milano glanced at his descendant. The black line near the wound on his chest gradually split, which made Milano's face suddenly become extremely painful. Shire held Milano's head and slowly said, "Son, you are about to fall. Before you die, give me the key to the Void. I will personally set foot on Jiuzhou and bring your body back to the Void." Milano endured the pain and raised his head with difficulty. His eyes were like a pool of stagnant water, staring at Shire. Chapter 281, Death of the Sixth Dragon Emperor. Seeing the familiar look in her son's eyes, Shire sighed. "Among the 6 sons, you have the calmest personality and I like you the most. But because you are the calmest, you are also the most opinionated. Your eyes have told me that you are going to disobey me, right?" Milano said with difficulty. "When you said that you injected the original blood into Shire's body, I no longer plan to give you the key, because you disappoint me, mother." Shire's face was motionless. "Why?" Milano smiled. "Although among the brothers and sisters, I'm closest to Lantader and hate Shire the most. No matter what, they are all my brothers and sisters, and you, as our mother, ignored the fact that Shire's blood was messed up by your origin, and sacrificed your son in vain for the war between the Void and Kashu." A line of tears fell from Shire's eyes. "For the Void, even I can perish." Milano smiled and said, "You kept your hand on my head. Did you intend to kill me immediately after I refused, or did you intend to kill me after I gave you the key? Or both?" Shire said with tears in her eyes, "I'm sorry, son. I'm sorry for you." Milano stared at her mother, and suddenly raised her right hand, pointing to the side of her body to summon a space. The summoned space was distorted and cracked. And Shire knew that the key between the Void and Jiuzhou was in the space. Milano's sudden attack was to completely destroy the space where the key was stored. Once the space was destroyed, no living being could get the key. He knew that Milano's action was equivalent to sentencing himself to death, but he still laughed and shouted, "Milano, Jiuzhou and you. The grudges are written off. Shire stared at Milano, slightly angry, and let go of the hand on Milano's head. Both hands were directly inserted into the cracks in the space, using all her strength to pry it open to prevent the space from being forcibly closed. Milano said, "Mother, if your real body was here, you could easily break through my space, but your current body belongs to Shire, and his ability is not enough to compete with my space ability." Milano's words left Shire unmoved, and a monstrous blue aura burst out of her body. Her hands swelled violently, and black blood slowly flowed out of her eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. Milano was shocked. "Are you crazy, Mother? You forcefully stimulated Shire's blood. He will die." Shire screamed in a low voice, and the cracks in the space clamped Shire's hands tightly, unable to close at all. Finally, after Shire sprayed a large amount of blood, the space no longer had the energy to close, and the cracks shattered like glass. Shire directly reached into the space and took out a key to nothingness. Under the desperate gaze of Hai and Milano, the key was thrown into the sky by Shire. A vast void light appeared in the sky. Shire looked back at Milano weakly. "I'm sorry, son." After saying that, Shire's apostrophe breath disappeared instantly. Shire, whose body was hollowed out, fell directly to the ground, coughing up blood in pain. Hai's body was shaking. "In the end, I still failed. Void, I will have to set foot in Jiaozhou again." Milano put away his desperate expression, and his eyes became indifferent again. "If it's fake." Hao Yi looked up at Milano in astonishment, and the latter continued, "The key was not in my hand from the beginning to the end, but in you." Hao Yi was groping himself cutely. Milano saw Hao Yi's cute movements and expressions for the first time, and smiled painfully. "You left countless of your inheritance in my space. When you were not paying attention, I left the key in one of your inheritances." After speaking, he raised his head and looked at the halo of nothingness in the sky. "It won't be long before Mother knows that the key is fake. At that time, she will naturally reactivate the original blood in Shire and come again." Hao Yi didn't expect Milano to have made such a big move from the beginning. "You didn't intend to give the key to Void from the beginning." Milano smiled and said, "Mother didn't kill me just now, because I have used up the last bit of my energy to destroy that fake space. I'm destined to die today, but you still have hope of survival." Hai looked at the black cracks near the penetrating wound on Milano's chest, and suddenly his face changed drastically. "You, Milano, when you used your blood and arrows to severely injure me, a trace of your blood remained on my chest. For so many years, I have kept this blood of yours. As long as you take it back, and rely on the Emperor of Jiaozhou, you can survive." Hai clenched his fists, staring at Milano, then laughed at himself. "I finally know why the Emperor allowed me to enter your space." It turns out that he had seen through it a long time ago. "Milano, when you severely injure me, the Emperor of Jiaozhou Heaven already knew it. I believe that the reason why my space has not been set foot by foreign creatures for so many years is also because the creatures of Jiaozhou are guarding it." Hao Yi watched Milano extract the blood that he was so familiar with from the wound in his chest, and tears flowed down his face for the only time in his life. He gritted his teeth and said, "You must feel very accomplished after deceiving me for so many years." Milano nodded. "It's really interesting. Before I die, I ask you for a favor." "Hao Yi, you say it." Milano looked at Shire on the ground. "I will use the last time to force the space. You help me take Shire out and save him. No matter how the creatures of your Kaishu treat him, at least let him live. No mistake. One poem, one post, one content, one book, one forum." Hao Yi now felt that he had truly known this void creature that had accompanied him for countless years. "You are so bold. You want me to bring a void dragon emperor to the Kaishu region?" Milano said with a smile. "Don't pretend. Hao Yi, you will help me. I see through you. You have two obvious human characteristics, unlike those hypocritical guys in the heavenly court." Hao Yi felt that he was insulted, but seeing Milano, who was already full of death, he finally held back and didn't scold him. "This guy was planning to kill you before." Milano looked at Shire. "He is my brother." Hao Yi wanted to continue talking, but Milano interrupted. "I don't have time. If you want to say something, help me build a monument and talk about it later. Isn't this what you humans like?" Hai's heart was full of mixed feelings. Since he was promoted to the position of god, this was the first time he had human feelings, and for a void creature, his heart seemed to be entangled. Milano opened his mouth and widened his eyes. His facial features shone with a grey light full of death, and the muscles on his body shrank rapidly. A tiny space vortex appeared in the room. Hai knew that this was Milano's last strength. Although he was reluctant, Hai was not a hesitant person. He absorbed the heart blood and regained his physical body. He hurriedly grabbed Jaya and used up his last bit of strength to jump into the space vortex. Just when Hai turned around and was about to shout, the vortex had disappeared and he and Jaya had appeared on the grass in the Wuwei area. You are a guy with a bad taste. You didn't let me say the last word before I die. After saying that, he fainted on the ground. Jaya closed her eyes and silently shed a line of tears. King Neo appeared between the two creatures at this time, sighed, and said to himself to the 6th Dragon Emperor space that was about to break, "Don't worry, Laojin has instructed that I will stabilize your space and prevent it from collapsing." Chapter 282, Windless Sea. After He Yang went online, he took out the fire and water stick from his backpack and immediately received a system prompt. Do you want to change your job to the Tangsuan job? This job is the exclusive job for the 4th rotation of Tang B8 Monkey. Therefore, this job and the player's own job Wu Buddha belong to the same 4 monkeys and can be smoothly converted. He Yang's eyes were as big as copper bells. What the hell? There is such a good thing? Question mark? He Yang has always been a god level player in the Chinese server. Seeing that his friends around him have their own exclusive jobs one by one, he feels very uncomfortable. Everyone eats rice. Why do they have rice bowls while I have porridge? After seeing the system prompt, he chose to change his job without saying a word. He didn't have to pay soul points to the dog official, nor did he have to change his job trial. The most important thing is that it is an exclusive 4th rotation job, which is great. A ray of light appeared on the fire and water stick and sank into He Yang's body little by little. Then he received the system prompt of job transfer successful. The fire and water stick landed steadily in He Yang's hand. He stroked this exclusive weapon of Tang B8 Monkey. He Yang seemed to feel that this object had the same mother as himself. The next second, I received another system prompt. Found a coordinate, XXXXX, XXXXXX. Why be confused? What is this coordinate? There is no information except a coordinate. Are you asking me to go to open up new land? After Liang Ting went online, she put the Descendant Inheritance in her backpack on the auction house and found that there were nearly 100 identical items in it, which means that in the 6th Dragon Emperor's Tomb dungeon, at least 100 teams have exploded the Descendant Inheritance, not including the players in the team who originally needed this inheritance. It seems that the players in our Chinese server are very efficient, but they should not be able to enter the palace space for the time being. After all, there is no map display, and there are groups of void creatures on the road. Now Liang Ting has only one thing to consider. The 5th Dragon Emperor Shire said that in the Kaishi world, that is, the world of creatures, except for the 1st Dragon Emperor who is not in this world, all other Dragon Emperors are dormant. The 6th Dragon Emperor Milano is in the tomb of the 6th Dragon Emperor. The 5th Dragon Emperor Shire is also there temporarily. The 4th Dragon Emperor Brickler is being watched by the Great Wet Brother and the 3rd Prince, and the remaining 2nd and 3rd Dragon Emperors are still eyeing the world of living beings. We need to inflict as much damage as possible before the arrival of the 3.0 version of Planet. Killing them is not something we dare to think about. After all, they are all at the level of beheading one corpse or more. Since the Southeast Asian server experienced the Independence Day event, it has been a smooth alliance with the US server. The two servers that fell in love at first sight quickly finalized the details of the alliance. With the alliance mechanism that the two servers can transmit to each other, the Blood Clan and the Wolf Clan of the US server received a dimensionality reduction attack. The two clans could never have imagined that the human race, who had always been in a back and forth relationship with them, and could even be said to be slightly inferior, would suddenly be so fierce that they would be forced into a big trap in a few seconds. The Blood Clan and the Wolf Clan, who were originally hostile to each other, had to form an alliance to resist the human race together. However, under the unreasonable insults of the Southeast Asian server players, it only took one day for the two clans to raise the white flag, and had no choice but to establish an alliance with the US server. If it weren't for the fact that the Southeast Asian server felt that the level of these little guys was too far from their own, and there was no point in killing them, and they let the American server players kill them, it would be estimated that in less than half a day, the two tribes would be extinct. The American server was arrogant on the outside, but secretly happy on the inside. It kept killing the two tribes, and the experience, soul value and honor value increased significantly. It can be said that the entire American server has made a qualitative leap. Coupled with the Independence Day event, the internal library of the American server has also become full, and its strength is catching up with the Russian server. As for the Russian server, because it is in alliance with the Chinese server, it can freely teleport to the Nine Heavens Zuandu of the Chinese server to purchase goods at the auction house. The European server has to flatter the Russian server, because the auction house of the Chinese server not only has a large amount of resources and items, but also the descendants' 4th level inheritance arrow god profession can be purchased. This caused the price of the arrow god inheritance in the Chinese server auction house to soar, and also made the Chinese server players very unhappy. Not only did they denounce the shamelessness of the European server, but they also criticized the Russian server as the middleman. As the most excluded orphan among the 7 servers, the Japanese server was sad and unhappy to see the other 6 servers loving each other. After the Independence Day event, the Japanese server saw the fact that the Russian server and the Korean server had 2 big servers to support them. They could not afford to offend them, and it was only a matter of time before they were surpassed. The American server, which was originally the weakest server, was now also being carried by the Southeast Asian server. So the Japanese server commander thought about it for a long time and finally decided to find another way. Since you all don't play with me, I will play by myself. As a Japanese server that has lived on the sea for a long time, although the Chinese server has the Japanese server's return point, very few players will choose to teleport to the Japanese server's territory, so they did not find that there was an extremely strange windless sea area next to the Rune Realm Sea where the Japanese server was located. The area in this sea area is extremely vast, but the magical thing is that there are no sea creatures. The entire sea area is extremely calm, and even the waves have hardly been raised. The players of Planet have studied the design of the dog official thoroughly. The dog official will not set up such a strange and seemingly useless map for no reason, so the Japanese server commander Fugitian Screwman, Ichiro Nemoto, asked the members of his gang to explore the sea area. The strength of this group of players can be said to be the first line echelon of the Japanese server, and they can all be trusted. They will not easily leak the wind, and other servers cannot know it. After the exploration, Ichiro Nemoto got feedback from the exploration team. There is an extremely inconspicuous crack in this windless sea area. It was initially identified as a time-space transmission crack. After a team entered the crack, only 10 minutes later, the team members came out of the crack and gave feedback to Ichiro Nemoto. It is indeed a time-space crack, and behind this crack, there is a powerful race, the Shura clan. No mistakes. 1 post, 1 content, 1 6, 1 book, 1 bar. Take a look. The Shura tribe was originally surprised to see the human race appear in their space. In ancient times, the relationship between the human race and the Shura tribe was very bad, because the Shura tribe lived on killing and blood, and liked to cannibalize any living creature. As the most spiritual race in ancient times, after eating humans once, the Shura tribe liked to hunt and kill humans for food, so the human race often attacked the Shura tribe. Over time, the hatred naturally deepened. When the Shura tribe discovered the human race, they unexpectedly did not kill the human race, but let the human race return and inform the Shura tribe that they planned to make a deal with the human race, and the content of this deal required the high-level human race to personally go to the Shura tribe to discuss. In the minds of Japanese players, the so-called high-level human race is only the commander of the Japanese server. Chapter 283, Shura Region. In the Windless Sea, Ichiro Nemoto and 2 Japanese players stood in front of the space-time rift and said to the 2 people around him, Ashura clan, I have checked the information on the official website. They have a hostile relationship with our human race. Therefore, no player can know about our negotiations this time. Once the news leaks out, other servers will have an excuse to attack us. A shadow killer player with the ID of the leader of brothels, Sei Shu, said, "Don't worry, I didn't tell any player that you came to me this time, and what you saw and said after entering will not be spread." The holy healer player with the ID of Tone Deaf, Gucheng Chixiang, nodded, "Don't worry, I'm the head of the Japanese spy agency, and you don't need to remind me of such precautions." Ichiro Nemoto nodded, then stepped into the space-time rift. Sei Shu and Gucheng Chixiang followed behind him, and the three of them disappeared in the windless sea. The scene changed, and the three of them appeared in an unfamiliar environment. The surroundings were filled with blood mist. The pungent smell of blood made the three of them extremely uncomfortable. The sky was dark, and they could vaguely see bat-like creatures hanging everywhere on the surrounding trees, and the land under their feet also showed a dark red eye color. The first time the three of them arrived in this area, the map name changed from Windless Sea to Ashura region. Before the three of them had time to look around, a voice came from behind. "Three people from the human race, I have been waiting here for a long time." The three of them turned around to check and saw a dark red skin, very handsome humanoid creature leaning against a tree and smiling at them. The young master of the Ashura clan, realm, middle stage of the god. Ichiro Nemoto and the other two Japanese players looked at each other, then said to Kui, "I'm surprised that the Shura tribe's territory is so close to our human tribe's territory." Kui said, Are you a high-ranking member of the human race?" Looking at the strength of the three humans in front of him, Kui found it hard to believe that the high-ranking members of the human race were so weak. Ichiro Nemoto knew the other party's concerns, nodded and said, "We humans have branches, and I'm the commander of one of the branches. Of course, my strength may not be high, but for the commander of the human race, decision-making ability is more important than strength." Kui, "Then how many creatures are there in your branch of the human race?" Ichiro Nemoto asked back, "How many creatures do you have in your Shura tribe?" Kui smiled and said, "It seems that the human race is very hostile to us." Ichiro Nemoto, "I just want to understand. After all, it was your Shura tribe that asked for negotiation. We humans came here out of courtesy." Kui was about to speak when suddenly a tiger roar came from the distance. The three Japanese servers turned their heads to look in the direction of the sound at the same time. Kui stared in the direction of the tiger roar and then said to the three humans straight to the point, "The Shura tribe is planning to make a deal with the human race." After the three Japanese servers heard the tiger roar, the system immediately popped up a task. After checking it, Ichiro Nemoto nodded calmly, "Tell me about it." Kui said, "The Shura clan needs humans to destroy the space-time rift. When you came in." Ichiro Nemoto thought thoughtfully, "That rift, is it the thing that seals your Shura clan?" Kui knew that these things could not be hidden from the other party, so he nodded in agreement. Ichiro Nemoto said, "In ancient times, our human race had a bad relationship with you, the Shura race. You asked us to help you out. Why do you think we will agree?" Kui patted the big tree next to him and said slowly, "The Shura race has been trapped in this area for who knows how many years. We have almost devoured all the edible creatures in this area. This big tree is my home, and where I sleep. In order for the Shura race to escape from this area, we can pay any price we can. Then what conditions do you humans need?" Ichiro Nemoto thought for a while according to the system prompts, and then asked, "You know the two worlds of the void and the abyss, right?" After hearing these two words, Kui stared at Ichiro Nemoto and nodded, "Of course." Ichiro Nemoto continued, "In ancient times, the two worlds of the void and the abyss fought with the Kaishu world. If I remember correctly, the Shura race was still targeting us humans instead of protecting their homes. Kui, so the human race refused." Ichiro Nemoto shook his head, "In the face of absolute interests, all hatred is false. As long as you can show enough sincerity, the human race does not mind helping you get out of here." Kui looked at the human who was speaking in front of him seriously. "I believe you are indeed a high-level human. So what benefits do you want to get from our Shura race?" Ichiro Nemoto waved his hand. "No hurry. I also want to ask, the tiger roar I just heard, if I heard it correctly, it was the white tiger, the sacred beast of our human race?" Kui clenched his fists, and Ichiro Nemoto smiled. How about we change the way of transaction? The Shura race shows a certain amount of sincerity, and we humans will help you escape with an equal price of Shura people. How about it? KUI, aren't you afraid that the creatures of our Shura race who go out first will forcibly destroy the cracks? Ichiro Nemoto shook his head. I'm really not afraid. Not to mention the strength of our human race itself. There are many powerful people in Kaishu who have survived. Once the Shura race regrets, I believe they will chase you to the ends of the earth. KUI was silent. The three Japanese servers saw that the other party was still hesitating, and they all looked around the space that they had not yet explored. KUI asked, tell me first, what do you want from our Shura clan? Ichiro Nemoto waved his hand. You haven't answered me yet. How many creatures of your Shura clan are trapped in this area? I want to weigh the price of the conditions. KUI, as a creature in the middle stage of the god, was too passive when facing the three humans in front of him. But now he had something to ask of them, and frowned. He couldn't lie to them, because once the number of people to be released was reached, the human race would not hesitate to increase the conditions. If he planned to forcibly break the seal and release the people, as the human race said, the powerful people in the Kaishu world were not joking. If they had not been restricted by the two worlds of the void and the abyss, the Shura clan would probably have died. All Shura clan creatures, including civilians, are more than 9.8 billion. No mistakes in one poem, one post, one content, one six, one book, one forum, one look. Ichiro Nemoto kept blinking, as if he was thinking. KUI felt that the human race now was much more disgusting than the human race in the past. Ichiro Nemoto said, count it as 10 million. Let the white tiger go, and I will release 1 million of your people. KUI growled, impossible. The white tiger killed many of our people. Ichiro Nemoto smiled and said, then you name a price. KUI, let all of us go, and I will let the white tiger go. Ichiro Nemoto was too familiar with these routines. He had always played them in TV dramas, and he turned around and said, bye. KUI had something to ask of the other party, so it was impossible for him to just let the human race leave. Dozens of Shura creatures appeared nearby and surrounded the three Japanese soldiers. Ichiro Nemoto smiled and turned back. The three of us in exchange for nearly 10 million of your people. I've made a lot of money on this deal. KUI saw that the three humans were not afraid at all and finally gave in. The white tigers can be released, but 1 million is too few. At least 5 million. Ichiro Nemoto, 1.5 million. KUI, 4 million. Ichiro Nemoto, 2 million. KUI, 3.5 million. Ichiro Nemoto, 2 million. KUI, why are you like this? Question mark. 3.5 million. Ichiro Nemoto, 1.5 million. No. How can you still shout back? Question mark. KUI said angrily, are you kidding me? Ichiro Nemoto smiled and said, if you say it again, it will be 1 million. KUI gritted his teeth. He was really disgusted to be bullied by three ants. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 284, Transaction completed. Ichiro Nemoto saw KUI's expression clearly. He knew that if he continued, it would be too much, so he waved his hand and smiled. 2 million Shura lives in exchange for the release of the white tiger. KUI took a deep breath and finally replied, any other conditions? Ichiro Nemoto silently glanced at the system information content and then continued, after the Shura tribe goes out, when the void and the abyss invade, if the Shura tribe is not devastated, they must join the Kaishu camp and compete with the other two worlds. After listening to KUI, he looked at the human race seriously. What you said is meaningless. After the Shura tribe goes out, they will not provoke the camp where the human race is. This is the bottom line of the Shura tribe. Ichiro Nemoto was about to speak, but KUI interrupted. It's not that the Shura tribe does not want to help the Kaishu world, but because the Shura tribe does not have the strength to compete with the void and the abyss. The Shura tribe is not fools. When there are invaders, they will not fail to recognize who the enemy is. At the beginning, the Shura tribe also fought with the Abyss, but in return, nearly half of the tribe members were killed or injured. The strength and number of the Abyss are endless. In the Shura area, we finally recovered. Although the Shura tribe members are murderous and warlike, they will not seek death. Ichiro Nemoto stared at Kui, stepped forward and held Kui's wrist, and said with a gloomy face, although the Shura tribe had a feud with the human race in ancient times, when foreign races invaded, the human race never hostile to the Shura tribe. Have you forgotten that you are also a member of the Kaishu world? Do you really want to kneel down and lick their toes after the Kaishu world is completely destroyed by the void and the abyss? Question mark? In exchange for the survival of the Shura tribe? Question mark? Although Ichiro Nemoto did not know how strong the void and the abyss were, as a senior reader of the TV series, he still knew the basic acting and wording, and the routines were the same. Kui looked at Ichiro Nemoto's rudeness towards him, and agreed with what the human said, not knowing how to respond for a moment. Ichiro Nemoto continued, besides, so many of your Shura people died at the hands of the abyss. Don't you want to avenge them? Are you worthy of the spirits of your people in heaven? Kui had a gloomy face, and didn't have the courage to shake off Ichiro Nemoto's hand, because what the human said was the truth, and it really touched Kui's heart. Ichiro Nemoto knew that these words had made Kui think deeply, and then he relaxed appropriately. Perhaps you have forgotten what the Shura people looked like in the past, their laughter, anger, joy, sorrow, and happiness, which shows that, in your heart, they are already dead. Death is not terrible. What is terrible is a meaningless death, where no one remembers why they died. Kui struggled to break free from Ichiro Nemoto's hand and roared, I haven't forgotten. I want to avenge them all the time. I want to tear the abyss apart all the time. Kui's words were exactly what Ichiro Nemoto wanted to hear, and he said, or I should give you time to think it over, but at least you have to promise me that after the invasion of the void and the abyss, the Shura tribe cannot attack any creature that fights against them. Kui nodded, okay, I promise you. Ichiro Nemoto shook his head, you are not agreeing to me. This is not my request. This is a request from the human race. This is a deal. If you agree, I will help some of your Shura tribe get out of trouble, and with your promise, I can release 3 million Shura tribe creatures. Ku was confused for a moment. He was so disgusting just now, but now he is so easy to talk to for the sake of Kaishu. Sure enough, whether in ancient times or now, the human race is the protagonist of the Kaishu world. Ichiro Nemoto counted his fingers. 2 million plus 3 million, that's 5 million. Let's not bother about the remaining 5 million. Let's be generous. I will release all your people at once, and you Shura tribe will agree to one condition from us humans. Ku suddenly had a bad premonition, but he also had some expectations, waiting for Ichiro Nemoto's words. Ichiro Nemoto suddenly said with a smile, how about forming an alliance with our human race's Japanese server branch? Ku. Ichiro Nemoto saw Ku's expression and said hurriedly, it's non-aggression. The Japanese branch of the human race agreed to let the Shura race go, and they can carve out a piece of land to live with you. It doesn't matter what you do. You just need to stand up for us, and scare the other side when our Japanese branch of the human race is bullied by other branches of the human race. Ku thought to himself, what kind of request is this? You were still bluffing for the sake of the human race last second, and now you tell me that other branches of the human race will bully you? Is there any truth in your mouth? Question mark? Ichiro Nemoto saw Kui's confusion and explained, it's like this. When facing a common enemy, the human race will be surprisingly united, but when there is no common enemy, the human race will often fight among themselves. Just like we can call each other idiots, but we don't allow others to do so. Kui asked in confusion, is this the last condition of your human branch? Ichiro Nemoto, yes. Kui, if I promise you, will you release all of our Shura people? Ichiro Nemoto, yes. Kui thought that it seemed that the Shura people didn't have much to lose, and it was a condition that didn't require any cost. He immediately nodded and agreed, okay, I promise you. Then when can you humans help us destroy the rift? Ichiro Nemoto laughed, okay, so, 2 days later at noon, the human race will release you from prison on time. No, the human race will help you out on time. 2 days will also allow you to tell the good news to other members of the tribe, giving you time to make full preparations, right? KUI didn't expect the other party to be so efficient. He had waited for countless years, so 2 days was nothing. He agreed immediately. Ichiro Nemoto said, then you should show some sincerity and release the white tiger first. KUI was immediately alert. What if I release the white tiger and you deceive us and don't let us out? Ichiro Nemoto touched his head. This is indeed a problem. How about you release the white tiger and I stay alone to accompany you? KUI looked at the human in front of him, shook his head and said, your value is not enough compared to the value of the white tiger. No mistake. 1 post, 1 content, 1 book, 1 forum, 1619, 1 book, 1 forum. Ichiro Nemoto. What do you mean? Are you underestimating me? Keishin Daishu approached and whispered, why not just let Beihu go out when the time comes to release him? Ichiro Nemoto was speechless. Don't I know? But the official mission states that he must be released now. What can I do? Chikako Furujo muttered, it won't matter if we wait a little longer. It will be fine once the mission is completed. There is no time limit for the mission. Ichiro Nemoto shook his head. You underestimate the official's dog nature. Those disgusting designers will not let you find this loophole. You have been playing Planet for so long. Have you ever seen any player find any bug? He turned around and said to KUI, brother KUI, we will be a family from now on. Why bother? You believe in me. I'm the one who keeps my word. KUI glanced at the human race. What the hell, brother? You are just an ant. I can crush you with one hand. He is getting ahead of himself. He might as well not say anything to show his attitude. Ichiro Nemoto simply threw the jar into the ground, pointed at Ku's nose and shouted, I tell you, if you don't agree to me, I will beat up all the remaining souls of the Shura creatures that Zuanwu is guarding. Although the remaining souls of the Shura creatures on Zuanwu Island have been reshaped into flesh by Suzaku and can move freely, it does not prevent the Japanese server from taking advantage of the power of the tiger. They are all human beings, and I believe that the Chinese server will not mind using their names. Ku heard the name of Zuanwu and was stunned for a moment and hurriedly replied, the Shura tribe left behind by Zuanwu are still alive. Ichiro Nemoto nodded arrogantly, of course. Not only are they alive, but they are also alive and well. Ku said immediately, okay, I promise you, Beihu can be released now, and I will wait for you humans at noon 2 days later. Ichiro Nemoto, Seishin Daiki, and Shikako Furujo. The name of the Chinese server is so useful. Chapter 285, KU's thoughts. When Ku left to release the white tiger, Ichiro Nemoto and the other two finally had a chance to talk. Chikako Furujo, Commander, the main task is to rescue the white tiger, and the secondary task is to win over the Shura clan. I think as long as we complete the main task, there is no need to do the secondary task. Ichiro Nemoto pondered, and Taiki Sagami nodded. Yes, the information on the official website shows that the relationship between the Shura clan and the human race is very tense. Once we let them out, if they go back on their word, we will have no way to deal with them. The great powers in the Kaishu world you mentioned before were just to scare him. Ichiro Nemoto also considered what Chikako Furujo and Taiki Sagami said, but as the commander of the Japanese server, Ichiro Nemoto not only had to consider the character of the Shura clan, but also to seek development for the Japanese server. Now there are alliances between the various servers, and only the Japanese server is isolated, which forced Ichiro Nemoto to try to form an alliance with the Shura clan. A young master of the Shura clan is already a creature in the middle stage of the god, so their clan leader must be at the peak, right? Even for the holy creatures, for the future of the Japanese server, Ichiro Nemoto still chose to gamble. Seeing that Ichiro Nemoto didn't say anything, the two Japanese servers knew that the commander was obviously worried. Seishin Eiju continued to persuade, and we just promised the Shura tribe that we would allocate a piece of land to them after they go out. We in the Japanese server don't have a region for them to survive. Our sphere of influence is on the sea. Ichiro Nemoto sighed and said, then give one of the sea areas to the Shura tribe. If they are not satisfied, it is none of our business. We have done what we promised. Guchun Kyanxiang and Seishindaja looked at each other, worried in their hearts that the Japanese server's treatment of the Shura tribe would only create a gap between the Shura tribe and the Japanese server, and the Japanese server would damage the reputation of the entire human race. The two did not want this. Suddenly, a shocking tiger roar swept over, and a huge snow-white tiger rushed into the bloody sky and kept roaring at the Shura tribe underground. Ku's figure suddenly appeared among the three Japanese servers, and he said with a gloomy face, "I have released the white tiger. You'd better persuade him, otherwise, we, the Shura clan, don't mind suppressing him again." Ichiro Nemoto nodded and took the task rewards from the task list, a red feather, a dark iron block, and a piece of green scale armor. He looked up at the white tiger in the sky and shouted, "Senior White Tiger, the human race's dog official. No, I'm here to help you out of trouble at the request of the Azure Dragon, the Vermilion Bird, and the Black Tortoise." The white tiger sensed when Ichiro Nemoto took out three objects with very familiar auras and jumped in front of Ichiro Nemoto. The three objects automatically floated up to the white tiger. White tiger, 4 divine beasts, realm, peak of gods. Ichiro Nemoto looked at the huge white tiger in front of him and saluted respectfully in the way of the Chinese server players. Beihu looked at the three objects in front of him with a fascinated look, then turned his head to stare at Kui, who was not to be outdone, and burst out with a deep red blood-colored aura, one white and one red. Kui, who was in the middle stage of the god realm, did not have the strength to compete with Beihu, who was at the peak of the god realm. However, because Beihu had been imprisoned for countless years and his injuries could not be recovered, his current realm had fallen to the same level as Kui. Ichiro Nemoto was deeply afraid that Beihu would fight with the Shura clan again. Neither the alliance with the Japanese server nor the system tasks he had received were what he wanted to see, so he immediately began to persuade Beihu. "Senior Beihu, the human race came here this time to trade with the Shura clan in order to prepare for the upcoming invasions of the two worlds of the Void and the Abyss. I hope you will consider the overall situation first." After hearing the words Void and Abyss, Beihu turned his head to look at Ichiro Nemoto. "Void and Abyss. Kaishu are defeated." Ichiro Nemoto shook his head. "Not yet. That's why the human race will do its best to persuade all the living races in the Kaishu world. This is also the task assigned by the dog official, the saint of the human race." After hearing the word sage of the human race, Beihu hesitated for a moment, then retracted his violent aura. Kui saw that Beihu was restraining his breath and said to Ichiro Nemoto, "The Shura tribe has done what it promised, and we hope that the human race will also abide by its promise. Otherwise the Shura tribe will not let it go." Ichiro Nemoto looked at Kui with a smile and was speechless. "How did you, a sealed race, learn these idioms? Please rest assured, young master Kui, for the sake of the creatures of Kaishu, the human race will not go back on its word." At noon 2 days later, the human race will welcome the Shura tribe outside the crack. After Ichiro Nemoto finished speaking, the three of them collectively activated the return to the city scroll, and Beihu was also illuminated by a sudden light curtain. His body gradually blurred, and finally the four creatures disappeared in the Shura area. Kui watched his former enemy disappear in the Shura region. An old Shura creature appeared beside Kui and asked worriedly, "Young master, will the human race really keep their promise to break the seal?" Kui remembered what the human race had said before and nodded. "They will. Compared with the Void and the Abyss, our Shura race is nothing, and the Shuras who were left by my father to restrict the Zuanwu are still alive. I must find them and learn about my father from them. No mistake. 1 poem, 1 post, 1 content, 1619, 1 book, 1 forum, 1 look." The Shura clan creature said. The clan leader was captured by the Abyss world. This was witnessed by all the clan members. Even if he reunites with Soul Shura, what can he do? Kui shook his head and showed a long lost smile. Father said at the time that he still had a backup plan in Uncle Soul. As long as I find Uncle Soul, I will know how to help father escape. If the human race did not lie to me, my Shura clan does not mind intervening in the war and helping the Kaishu world. The Shura clan creature was about to speak, but Kui interrupted. "Look at what our Shura clan has now. The Shura clan, which was once at its peak, lost more than half of its population in the war, and eventually hid away from the world, but was finally sealed here by the Abyss world. Now, in order to survive and leave food for the next generation, the clan members in the Shura area have chosen to fake their deaths and consume their own blood. We, the Shura clan, no longer have the capital to negotiate with the human race. After hearing what Kui said, the Shura clan remained silent. Kui smiled bitterly. We Shura clan will not participate in the war between the Void and Kyushu, but we must avenge the hatred of the Abyss. As long as there is one member of our Shura clan who survives, we will not be considered exterminated. The Shura clan creatures finally did not speak again, and disappeared on the spot, leaving Kui alone to look at the bloody night sky. In 2 days, I will make the Shura clan return to its heyday. It's time to wake up the sleeping clansmen. I, Kui, will take this risk. Chapter 286, White Tiger's Revelations. Ichiro Minamoto, Teiju Seishin, Chikako Kojo and the released White Tiger suddenly appeared around the crack in the windless sea. The White Tiger sniffed the familiar smell of the Kyushu world, and knew that he had left the Shura region. Looking at the 3 human races in front of him, he summoned a handful of white fluff, and floated it to Ichiro Minamoto's hand. This is my spiritual power. If you are in danger, you can release my spiritual power. As long as the other party is not a peak god, he can help you out. Ichiro Minamoto was about to thank him, when the White Tiger pounced into the sky, and disappeared into the horizon in an instant. The 3 people from the Japanese server looked at the White Tiger who did not play by the rules, and Ichiro Minamoto said how and muttered, the so-called divine beasts from the Chinese server are so damn rude. They are exactly the same as those guys from the Chinese server. They have no manners at all. After all, I'm your savior. Seishin Aki asked, what are you going to do in 2 days? Ichiro Minamoto simply said, since we promised the Shura tribe, we must do it. What's more, the Shura tribe now has no strength to compete with us Japanese servers. Even if he thinks we are deceiving him, he dare not do anything to us. Furujo Chikako said, how could it be? Ku is the young master of the Shura tribe, and his realm is also in the middle stage of the god, and the official data says that the Shura tribe is a famous race in the Kyushu world. How can the Japanese server compete with it now? Ichiro Minamoto smiled and said, don't you think it's strange? Since we entered the Shura area, have you found any members of the Shura tribe? Those so-called Shura creatures that surrounded us are just illusions. Furujo Chikako wondered, how do you know? The moment the White Tiger approached us, you were all attracted by the White Tiger, and I saw the so-called Shura creatures silently turned into mist, which proved that the Shura tribe was just a facade. In addition, Ku claimed that the Shura tribe had tens of millions of people, but I observed for a long time, and found no trace of life in the Shura area. Ichiro Minamoto explained with a smile. Keishin Daishu and Guchan Kyangsiyang began to recall. In the Chunayang area, LV Dongbin was meditating with his eyes closed under a tree. The white dog and civet cat creatures were enjoying the soft breath emitted by LV Dongbin. Bayer and the cat were sleeping not far away with an expression of enjoyment. LV Dongbin slowly opened his eyes, feeling a burst of breath appearing in the south, smiled and stood up, and stepped into the summoned space-time crack, and appeared on Zuanwu Island the next moment. At this time, Zuanwu Island welcomed the figure of the White Tiger. Zuanwu and Suzaku felt the breath of their companions. A phoenix cry resounded through the sky, and the surrounding sea water also surged violently. Zuanwu's head emerged from the sea, and Zook also appeared from the Shura tower, looking at the snow-white giant tiger in the sky. Zook said excitedly, White Tiger, you are not dead yet. The White Tiger was dissatisfied with Zook's tone, and roared at him. Zook made a silver bell-like cry, as if expressing his inner joy. Zuanwu said, you came back just in time. Where is the Shura tribe? White Tiger, don't look for them. They will appear by themselves in 2 days. Why are there Shura creatures on your back? The Shura creatures who can move freely on Zuanwu Island and the players of the Chinese server all looked at the giant beast with surprise. The players of the Chinese server showed a fresh expression, while the Shura tribe felt the bursting breath of the White Tiger and showed fear. Zuanwu said, put away your temper. This group of Shura are Shaju's backup. Beihu glared at Zuanwu, and Zuanwu said, Shaju didn't kill you at the beginning, and for the survival of Jiazhao, you'd better put away your grudges. Beihu, where is King Lung? Lu Dongban suddenly appeared in front of the three beasts, and said with a smile, King Lung is with my apprentice for the time being. Fellow Daoist Beihu, it's been a long time since we last met. Beihu put away his explosive emotions after seeing the visitor. Chunayang immortal, I want to know, when will the void and the abyss invade our Jiazhao? Lu Dongban shook his head, I don't know, but don't worry, I will do my best to improve King Lung's realm during this period, at least before the void or the abyss arrives. Fill the last position of the Four Saints seal. Beihu showed anger, okay, then I'll wait for the void and the abyss to arrive. At this time Liangting was teleported to Zuanwu Island and saw Beihu, who had a defective personality, at first sight. Of course, she couldn't be left out of such a new thing. The next second, she heard Beihu's revelations. The Shura will emerge from the windless sea in 2 days. The human race has a Japanese branch that promised to release the Shura creatures, and the Shura also agreed to form an alliance with that human branch. The Chinese server players were dumbfounded when they heard Beihu's words. What the hell? They are conducting overseas business on their own. They are really pulling their asses with a knife. They are really open-minded. They are forming an alliance with a race that is hostile to the human race. The Japanese server has been squeezed by the door. The Japanese server is really brave. They acted on their own. Did our United Nations agree? I think it is necessary to teach these little Japanese guys who have a good life a lesson. How to teach them a lesson? Of course, we should talk about reason. We are a country of etiquette. Liangting couldn't bear it after hearing Beihu's revelations. You can form an alliance if you want to, but it is too much to form an alliance with a race that was an enemy of the human race in ancient times. It's okay to make an enemy, but are the Shura people easy to deal with? Exclamation mark. They are not. He was the one who stabbed the human race in the back, and you Japanese servers dared to provoke him behind the backs of all servers. The most abominable thing is that when you formed an alliance with the Shura clan, you didn't even invite our Chinese servers. This is the most abominable. Ichiro Nimoto worked so hard that he even concealed it from the players on his own server. He was afraid that the news would leak out in advance, but he was suddenly exposed by Beihu's big mouth. This was something Ichiro Nimoto could never have imagined. Liangting launched a campaign announcement without saying a word. 2 days later, all players participating in the campaign will be teleported to the Japanese server and head to the windless sea. I want to see how you Japanese servers plan to explain it. Beihu's words were heard by the Chinese server, which meant that all servers knew about it. Among all servers, there were naturally undercover agents from the Japanese server. Not long after Ichiro Nimoto teleported back to the main city, he received feedback from the undercover agent, and he was immediately full of question marks. Damn it. Beihu, this orange cat misled me. I saved you. You repay kindness with resentment. Question mark? Are you sick? The servers were all in an uproar, and the cross-server channels directly criticized the Japanese servers, but the Japanese players themselves didn't know what was going on. Hey, you're smuggling here? Brothers from the Japanese servers, don't you plan to share a piece of the pie? Are you going to keep it all? Take my advice. I've eaten more salt than you've eaten rice. The most important thing in life is sharing. The Japanese servers really broke my heart. They have no conscience at all. Let's burn down the main city of the Japanese server, Sakura Island. Chapter 287, Heading to the Windless Sea. In the past 2 days, there have been turmoil among the servers. Under the constant condemnation of Japanese players, all servers have ignored the raw and rights protection of Japanese players. As the only server with a return point to the city of Japanese servers, the Chinese server naturally has plenty of time. However, other servers have finally endured because of the large territory and strength of the Chinese server, and because they have ships, or the ship level is not enough, they can only watch the Japanese server reap the fruits in vain. Only the European server has a large number of mage players who have purchased and upgraded ships because of the demand for the 4th level profession UEAO and have the capital to sail on the sea. BG Williams sent a private message to Liangting claiming that the European server will also go to the Japanese server, hoping that the Chinese server players will borrow the passage. Liangting certainly cannot agree. How can others sleep soundly on the bed? She told the European server commander that, if he wants to go to the Windless Sea, he has the ability to take a detour by himself. The area of the Chinese server does not allow other servers to set foot at will. Helplessly, the European server finally gave up. The Russian server commander Big Bird Vodka, Yelissa Grove, also privately asked Liangting if she could go to the Japanese server together. However, Liangting dissuaded the other party with an opposing attitude. It was not because the Chinese server was unwilling to have a share of the alliance server, but because the Russian server did not have the Japanese server's teleportation point. She told the other party that if the Russian server players had a large number of ships that could sail far, the Chinese server would not mind the other party's participation. Moreover, this trip to the Windless Sea was not a fight, and there was no gain at all. The Chinese server wanted to establish its prestige in front of the Shura clan and the Japanese server. You must know that for the Shura clan, the Chinese server was the first server to contact. Now there are still new Chinese server players on Shura Island from time to time. 2 days passed in a flash. Early in the morning, Liangting applied for the battle command in Jiushan Zuandu, set the battle limit for players with 3 or more transfers to participate, and then opened the team. In an instant, millions of Chinese server players joined the team. Looking at the constantly refreshing team participating players, Liangting gave an order to directly teleport the players to the Japanese server's main city, Sakura Island. Outside the main city of Sakura Island, players from the Chinese server were instantly everywhere. Ichiro Nemoto looked at this group of bandits with a gloomy face and gritted his teeth and said to the Japanese server players around him, "I really want to go to war with these guys from the Chinese server." The Japanese server players smiled bitterly. "I want to, but we can't win. Our highest combat power is only level 3, and the opponents have a large number of level 4 players." Ichiro Nemoto immediately ordered that all players be teleported to the Windless Sea an hour later. The Chinese server only has a teleportation point in the main city of Sakura Island. If you want to go to the Windless Sea, you can only cross the sea by yourself. Even if there are undercover agents from the Chinese server in the Japanese server, they only know the coordinates of the Windless Sea. The Windless Sea is extremely vast. The exact location of the Shura clan space-time rift is only known to me, Kaishan Dashu, and Guchun Kaiangxiang. If you want to find the exact location, it depends on your luck on the Chinese server. Liangting saw Ichiro Nemoto on the city wall outside Sakura Island, smiled and waved to him, and then ordered the Chinese server players to summon ships and go to the Windless Sea at full speed. Although the Windless Sea is not far from here and can be reached in about an hour, the Chinese server has very little information about the Windless Sea and can only rely on its own investigation step by step. The Japanese server did a great job of keeping the information confidential this time. Another boring morning. I have to say that the map of the world of living beings is really big. I'm really curious about what the dog official is thinking. Don't be so cheap. The dog official game is free. If the point card system is really implemented, you have to pay 10 yuan an hour. Do you think we should come back and teach the Japanese server a lesson after this operation? The son has grown up and has a strong rebellious heart. I don't think it's appropriate. Although they are rubbish, they are prone to killing their fathers. How can you say that about your own son? Can you save some face for your son? If the child is like this, isn't it the failure of us fathers? The Chinese server players chatted one by one and didn't take the Japanese server and the Shura clan seriously at all. After all, it was a 4th level server. If they were really ruthless, Sun Wukong would have to recite Buddhist scriptures for me. At 11 AM, the Chinese server players arrived at the Windless Sea. Liangting immediately ordered, gather 1,000 people and explore all areas of the Windless Sea. Once you find a space-time crack or traces of the Japanese server, report to me immediately. Liangting didn't think that the Japanese server would let her find them or the cracks so easily without any obstacles. There must be countless Japanese server players misleading her along the way. They dare not do it openly, but they are still professional at tripping people up. In just 5 minutes, countless information was fed back to indicate that they had encountered traces of Japanese servers. The number of the other party was more or less. Liangting also made a countermeasure. Each 1,000-man fleet encounters Japanese server players and can appoint players to follow them according to the number of people. The upper limit of each follow is 100 people. At this time, Ichiro Nemoto was still staying in Sakura Island. Seishinaki and Furujo Chikako stood beside him. The three of them did not need to follow the fleet. As long as the time came, the three of them could choose to teleport directly to the location of the space-time crack. Now what the Japanese server needed to do was to lead as many low-level Japanese server players as possible away from the Chinese server personnel in a track and field horse racing style. However, perhaps because the Japanese server was too unlucky and the Chinese server was too lucky, in just half an hour, a player from the Chinese server found the location of the space-time rift and immediately fed the news to Liangting. Liangting was overjoyed when she saw it and ordered everyone to move closer to the coordinates to form a siege. No mistakes. When he learned that the Chinese server players gave up following and all moved closer to the coordinates of the space-time rift, Ichiro Nemoto widened his eyes in disbelief. How could it be possible? Why did the Chinese server find the coordinates so quickly? Question mark. Did they have any special items among them? Question mark. Or did the orange cat Beihu tell them? Exclamation mark. You know, it took the Japanese server a long time to find the space-time rift, and Ichiro Nemoto didn't believe that the Chinese server didn't cheat. Unable to wait any longer, Ichiro Nemoto and the other two were directly teleported to the vicinity of the space-time rift, and immediately chose to cut the Gordian knot and immediately broke the rift to release the Shura clan. The way to crack the space-time rift is very simple, and it is also very characteristic of the Planet game, that is, input soul value. As long as a large amount of soul value is input, after reaching a certain value, the rift will naturally collapse. Ichiro Nemoto inputted soul value distressedly. This 1 point is 1/3 of the Japanese server's internal library. Damn dog official, it's really a vampire. However, Ichiro Nemoto underestimated the level and speed of the Chinese server ships. When the soul value input was just halfway, the large force led by Liangting had already appeared on the sea level. Keishandashu immediately said, "The Chinese server is here, otherwise we will not destroy the rift and negotiate with the Chinese server." Ichiro Nemoto gritted his teeth. It's too late. The soul value progress is already halfway. The system prompts that, as long as the soul value transmission is stopped, the next transmission will have to start again. The Japanese server's internal library does not have so much soul value. Guchun Kaiangxiang was also angry. It's really time to come. We are making wedding clothes for the Chinese server. We give the soul value, and they will not be polite when there are benefits later. Chapter 288. The Shura clan goes back on their words. The Chinese server arrived at the space crack of the Shura clan before the Japanese server. Liangting smiled and greeted the Japanese server commander, Fujishin Screwucker. "Ichiro Nemoto, long time no see, commander." Ichiro Nemoto snorted. "The Chinese server is no different from robbers by stepping into my Japanese server's territory at will." Liangting asked back with a he. "I remember that this windless sea area is not the territory of your Japanese server. Otherwise the system should have prompted it." Ichiro Nemoto was choked and didn't know how to reply. Liangting tilted her head to look at the crack and continued to smile. "It's okay. You continue to transfer soul value. We will wait for you here. No rush." Ichiro Nemoto asked gloomily while transferring soul value. "Tell me, what conditions does the Chinese server need before it is willing to leave?" Liangting, "Before putting forward conditions, of course you should see how the situation develops. Otherwise, if I set the conditions too high, you will not be satisfied, and if I set the conditions too low, I will not be satisfied. I'd better wait and see what happens to the Shura clan." Ichiro Nemoto looked at the players from the Chinese and Japanese servers who arrived one after another. He knew that, if a fight really broke out, the Chinese server could suppress the Japanese server from flooding the sea. In the end, he gritted his teeth and turned back to concentrate on transferring soul value. He was afraid of having a myocardial infarction if he said one more word to the Chinese server commander. The soul value in the Japanese server's inner storehouse disappeared in batches, and the stability of the space-time rift became lower and lower. When the progress was completed, a huge crack was propped up in the rift, and a figure rushed out from the crack, and then more and more red figures appeared continuously. Liang Ting looked at the first creature that came out, the young master of the Shura clan, with the strength of the middle stage of the god. If they wanted to fight, the Chinese server might not be able to beat him, but it didn't matter. They just focused on the other creatures of the Shura clan and beat them up. Anyway, we were not the ones who suffered. Ku appeared anew to breathe fresh air crazily, laughing. I'm out. Finally out. The players of the Chinese and Japanese servers looked at the overwhelming red figures and suddenly had a feeling that this group of Shura creatures seemed to be planning to eat the human race alive. Ichiro Nemoto also felt the discomfort and shouted to Kui, the human race has released the Shura tribe according to the agreement. Now, please keep your promise. Kui smiled evilly. Promise? Of course we Shura tribe will keep our promise, but my people have not eaten for countless years. Let them fill their stomachs first, and then the Shura tribe will negotiate with you humans. Kui waved his hand, and millions of creatures at the level of gods rushed to the ships of the Chinese and Japanese servers like crazy. This was the first batch of Shura creatures to appear in the world. Because there was no land in the windless sea, the Shura tribe below the level of gods could not fly and could only stay in the Shura area. After Kui appeared, he noticed the human race's ships at the first time. As long as he took them away, he could let the civilians in the tribe leave together. The players between the two servers were stunned. What was going on? Didn't they agree that the Japanese server and the Shura tribe had a secret deal, and they were caught by the Chinese server to grab the benefits? Why did the script change? Did the director add a scene at the last minute? Ichiro Nemoto roared. Aren't the Shura people afraid of the revenge of the human race? Kui shook his head. Of course not. When the void and the abyss come, we will not go against you. This is our promise. As for now, let us have a good meal first. The players present understood that the Japanese server was fooled. After playing Eagle for so many years, they were blinded in the end. Good fellow, you said it so confidently. Even the villains in TV dramas wouldn't dare to act like that. Look at how annoying the Japanese server is. They don't care about us, and they still want to develop overseas business and form alliances. They are dreaming. Look over there, they are fighting. Should we help? Are you stupid? What's the benefit of going over to help now? Of course we will start eating after the Japanese server is wiped out. Do you want to share the experience with them? Don't you plan to try to form an alliance with them? Hey, your question makes me not know how to answer you. With your IQ, why don't you transfer to another server? Have you forgotten how the Japanese server was fooled? Ichiro Nemoto was extremely angry. He originally thought that he had suppressed the other party and taken the dominant position, but he didn't expect that the clan was actually himself. Now he has spent money and feelings, and in the end you told me that you are married? Exclamation mark. While commanding the Japanese server players to resist, he considered whether to ask for help from the Chinese server. The creatures of the Shura clan are all in the realm of gods. If they want to compete with them, only the Chinese server with a large number of 4th level professions has the capital. Liang Ting originally planned to sit on the mountain and watch the fight between the tigers. However, Kui saw that the human race in the distance did not intend to help, and they left their own people being surrounded and suppressed. It seems that this is the second branch of the human race. As the human race said before, the human race is not a monolithic entity. Without Kui saying anything, the starving Shura creatures saw a large group of countless food not far away and subconsciously rushed towards the direction of the Chinese server. The mental state of these Shuras did not look like an intelligent race at all in the eyes of the players. Even the void skeleton creatures in the tomb of the 6th Dragon Emperor were more diverse than them. They were really starving. Is the environment in the crack so bad? There is not even food? Question mark? Liang Ting calmly ordered, the 4th rank front row, wait for the enemy to approach, and the 3rd rank players will go up to protect the ship. No mistakes. 1 song, 1 post, 1 content, 1 6, 1 9, 1 book, 1 bar. The rest of the 4th rank players can play freely after the two sides come into contact. As for the 3rd rank players, you can do whatever you want. Pick up heads and deal damage in the back, or be cheerleaders. Just don't be reckless. This was the first time the Chinese server fought a naval battle, and they obviously had no experience. Liang Ting didn't know how to command, so she could only use the dumbest and stupidest method, to perish together. Anyway, the Japanese server had been fooled, so there was no benefit to be gained. They might as well fight the Shura clan all at once, die early and go home early, and at most the Chinese server will trouble them after they settle down. When Ku saw that the Japanese branch of the human race was so weak, he was full of contempt in his heart. The strength of the human race was still the same as in ancient times, and it would break at the first touch. However, the next second, they found something wrong. The attacked human race adapted to the situation immediately. Although they were not as strong as the enemy, they were not afraid. Even being slaughtered could not arouse their grief and fear. Their eyes were calm, and they were fighting for their lives. The creatures of the Shura race just lost their minds because of hunger. After killing a human race, they would not immediately engage in battle but start eating. However, no matter how many human races were killed by the Shura race, the slaughtered human race creatures did not leave corpses, which made the Shura race creatures who had lost their minds sluggish. The Japanese server was obviously angered. Even if they could not beat them, they would fight with the Shura race. It would be fine if they lost another servers. This was the first time they were fooled by the races in the creature world. Ichiro planned to do nothing next and just stare at the Shura race in disgust. The situation on the Chinese server was much more complicated. The players of the Chinese server did not plan to fight for their lives. It was not easy to have such a battle to brush resources. Of course, they were not willing to spend it so easily. Tactical coordination, full output, moderate advance and retreat, and fast support were all combat experiences accumulated by the players of the Chinese server bit by bit. Liang Ting ignored the battle on the Chinese server and instead looked at the situation on the Japanese server. She suddenly felt sorry for the other party. Chapter 289, The Past of the Shura clan. The strength of the Chinese server and the European server was pulled apart. No one in the server alliance played with the Japanese server. He was fooled when he started his overseas business. Now he was beaten up. He was wondering whether he should help the Japanese server. After all, the next version of Planet 3.0, if nothing unexpected happens, all servers will fight the two worlds of Void and Abyss together. It's not good to have a tough relationship. After hesitating again and again, Liang Ting decided to join the war. After all, our Chinese server has been a country of etiquette since ancient times. I hope these bastards will not be ungrateful and repay evil with kindness like the war criminals back then. He issued an order on the battle channel. Resolve the battle in front of you as soon as possible and help the Japanese server defeat the Shura tribe. One by one, the Chinese server players were puzzled. Huh? You want to help the Japanese server? Why? Has the maternal aura of the commander strengthened? Are you going to show goodwill? You can help, but it's not necessary. Help. I guess the commander has other arrangements. Although they don't know why the commander made such a decision, the players of the Chinese server, as the server that is best at fighting battles in Planet, know the necessity of obeying the commander's orders. Things at the strategic level are not what they should consider. The Chinese server's 4th level players who were hiding their abilities suddenly attacked, and their combo skills burst out one after another, especially the Yu Yao profession. In the sea, where there is water everywhere, it is simply a map cannon. There is no need to use the extremely mana-consuming weather change skill, and you can just be inhuman. Previously, Lu Dongban told Yi Jian to improve the strength of Jizai as much as possible. Yi Jian heard the command and summoned Jizai directly. This dragon-shaped flying mount with the breath of King Lang and a plastic surgery on the appearance attracted Ku's attention as soon as it appeared. Ku looked at Jizai, who appeared out of thin air in surprise, and the feeling of fear suddenly broke out. A white tiger and a black tortoise caused heavy casualties to the Shura clan, not to mention King Lang, who was their boss. Although Jizai's strength was only at the level of a god, he knew the great powers of Jiao. He especially liked to play the pig and eat the tiger. He refused to explode until the last moment, and his heart was extremely perverted. Kui was going to order his tribe to leave, but the hungry tribe had already killed themselves. Nothing was more uncomfortable than being hungry. Although they didn't know why the bodies of humans disappeared after they died, their subconscious habit of preying on living things made them unwilling to retreat. Kui, who was riding a tiger, watched his tribe whose fighting power had dropped by half due to hunger, being eaten away bit by the humans in the distance. He suppressed his fear of the azure dragon and burst out with a shocking red aura, rushing towards the direction of the humans in the distance, to avoid the azure dragon. Kui, who arrived in an instant, named and killed the players in the Chinese server one by one, intending to make the humans afraid. However, without Liang Ting's instructions, the accustomed players simply ignored Kui and stared at the surrounding Shura creatures and beat them. I can't beat you, so I'll beat your tribe. I don't believe you don't feel bad. You are a superficial attack, and I'm a mental attack. Let's see who can't stand it first. The three beasts Xuanwu, Zuk and Beihu, who were far away on Xuanwu Island, sensed the birth of the Shuras at the first moment. Beihu roared with explosive temper. The breath of the human race and the breath of the Shuras are mixed together. Should we completely exterminate the Shuras? Zuk said in a joyful voice. It's really annoying. I also want to completely exterminate the Shuras. Xuanwu also agreed without saying a word. With the support of the two beasts, Beihu stood up and flew into the sky. When he found that the two beasts did not move, he turned back and asked in confusion, "You are not going?" Zuk said helplessly, "You go. My origin is consolidating the souls of the Shuras on the island, and they can't move." Beihu growled, "Do you think I'm stupid? If you leave your origin here and leave, you can achieve nirvana even if you die." Xuanwu still said nothing. Lu Dongbin smiled and said, "Dao Beihu, don't worry, let the human race fight the Shura race, we won't intervene." Beihu was curious. While Lu Dongbin said this, Chunayang immortal, the human race is not strong enough to compete with the Shura race. If it drags on, the human race will be exterminated. Xuanwu closed his eyes, and Suzaku was speechless. What the hell is going to exterminate the race? I have been on Xuanwu Island for so long, and those human races come to the Shura Tower every now and then to fight with the Shura remnant souls inside. I don't know how many times they have been killed, but they can come back alive the next day. Now the Shura remnant souls in the Shura Tower are afraid of this group of human races. I originally thought they came to chat with me, but they just disgusted me. They can't help but fight, and they even call it a fight to exchange feelings. They are so cruel. Suzaku is watching them every day. Lu Dongbin waved his hand. "It's okay, Taoist Beihu, you may not know that the human race in this life will not enter the cycle of reincarnation and will not really die. If you go over to help, the human race may not appreciate it." Beihu was shocked by the four words "not enter the cycle of reincarnation." Seeing the two beasts who were not surprised at all, they finally landed on Xuanwu Island. Xuanwu said at this time, "If there are no accidents, the biggest goal of the Shura clan who came out is to target the Shura remnant souls. We don't need to pay attention to them. As long as we stay here, they will come to us sooner or later." Beihu was puzzled. "Why?" Xuanwu said shockingly, "Because among the Shura remnant souls, there is one who knows the information about the Shura clan leader Shaju." Xuanwu's words scared Zuk and Beihu. "Shaju? Do you mean the Shura clan leader? Didn't he die in the past? No mistakes in one poem, one post, one content, one book, one forum, 1619, one book, one forum, one look." Xuanwu, when Shaju was about to fall, he was dragged into their world by the creatures of the abyss. The abyss will not make such a big fuss for a dead creature. "You mean, Shaju is not dead yet?" Xuanwu, "It should be." At this time, Lu Dongbin interrupted and said, "When Jiazhao was fighting with the Void Abyss, the Shura clan interfered with the Jiazhao front behind the human race, and Xuanwu was sent here to guard the human front, to prevent the Shura clan from making trouble." After Xuanwu fought with the Shura clan, Shaju was seriously injured and knew that he was defeated, so he asked some Shura clan creatures to trap the injured Xuanwu here, and he evacuated with his people. However, due to his severe injuries, he could only recover by sucking blood. Shaju ventured into the war zone between the abyss and the human race, sucked a large amount of blood and energy from the creatures of the abyss, and was eventually severely injured by the powerful creatures of the abyss and almost fell. All of this was seen by the great powers of Jiazhao. At that time, Shaju had almost no chance of survival. For some unknown reason, the mighty power of the Abyss seemed to be extremely interested in Shaju, and then dragged the almost dead Shaju into the passage of the Abyss. The Shura clan was defeated and massacred on a large scale because of Shaju's willful behavior, and finally escaped from the war zone, but was chased by countless Abyss creatures behind them. The helpless Shura clan used a secret method in the Windless Sea area and forcibly hid in the Shura area. The creatures of the Abyss could not enter, but they did not intend to let them out. They forcibly destroyed the entrance to the space, making the space channel completely blocked, and the Shura creatures inside could not come out. But when in the Abyss war zone in the car, a Shura creature did not follow the large army, but fled in the direction of Zuanwu Daoiao. When he was about to arrive, he was killed by the Abyss creatures. Zuanwu Daoiao forcibly stabilized the other party's soul and put it into the Shura tower. Before Shaju was dragged into the Abyss world, he told this Shura creature the information to rescue himself. Chapter 290, Kugu's Dilemma. Ku found that the human race here was particularly difficult to deal with. As a creature in the god realm, he couldn't get any good in front of a group of human creatures at the overlord level and god level. Before the Shura clan was trapped in the Shura space, the level division between realms was very obvious. A creature would be very afraid when encountering a creature with a higher realm than himself, and would run away without saying a word. Countless years had passed, and now the world of Kaishu has become like this? Shouldn't everyone follow the rules and beg for mercy or run away if they can't beat them? The human race in front of him didn't care about him at all. Some humans would insult him after knowing that they were being targeted, and they didn't forget to greet their mother before they died. Other human races didn't have any emotional fluctuations when they saw their own people being slaughtered, and they grabbed the Shura creatures and beat them wildly. Ichiro Nemoto found that the pressure on the Shura clan on the Japanese server dropped sharply. He looked closely and found that most of the Shura creatures were moving towards the Chinese server. The Japanese server players said at this time, "Good opportunity, let's go back to the city quickly, let the Chinese server suffer. They are planning to steal our benefits, they deserve to be surrounded and suppressed." Sure enough, the Chinese server is more hated than our Japanese server. You see, the Shuras are specifically looking for them. I don't think so. I just saw that the Chinese server suddenly attacked the Shuras. I think they are helping us. Helping us? No way. The relationship between our two servers is very tense. I don't know who is true and who is false with each of you saying something. Let's see what the commander says. The Japanese server commander Fujishin Screwworker, Ichiro Nemoto, knows that the Chinese server is really helping him. The Chinese server, which has never suffered losses, will not suddenly attract the attention of the Shuras for no reason. This is to share the pressure on their side. If it were normal times, it goes without saying that the Chinese server would definitely make a fortune quietly and secretly kill the Shuras in batches to obtain resources. Now they are suddenly helping us Japanese servers. Are they taking the wrong medicine? Ichiro Nemoto was struggling over whether to go back to the city and sell the Chinese server or stay and fight side by side. After Seishin Daishu and Furujo Chikako recovered to full health, Ichiro Nemoto asked for their opinions. The two were silent. Ichiro Nemoto could see that they were worried. Go ahead and say it. I'm not the emperor. Don't worry about offending me by saying the wrong thing. Chikako Furujo then spoke. I think the Japanese server should help the Chinese server. I can see that they were besieged by the Shura clan because of us. Seishin Daishu nodded. Yes, although I don't know why they did this. At least our Japanese server's face is saved, and we won't be laughed at by other servers for being fooled by the game races. Ichiro Nemoto nodded. Yes, originally our Japanese server was going to be wiped out this time. If we are lucky, the Shura clan will give up. If we are unlucky, they will go to our main city. By then it won't be a joke. The Japanese server should really recognize this favor. Chikako Furujo asked, what about us? Ichiro Nemoto told everyone the answer with his actions. He ordered on the command channel, all Japanese server players, support the Chinese server at full speed and defeat the Shura clan together. What the hell? Does this mean that the Chinese server was really helping us just now? I told you, I was not mistaken before. My nickname is Conan. Reasoning is perfect. So people often die around you? I can't afford to offend them. come on. Let the Shura tribe see the anger of our Japanese server. They actually fooled me. My girlfriend always lied to me when she put a hat on me, but they just flipped the table. I can't stand it. You are so open-minded upstairs. The ships of the Japanese server can be said to be the most luxurious in the whole server, even surpassing the luxurious summer server. After all, it is a sea server, so the defense and speed of the ships of Japanese server players are very fast. The remaining more than 2 million Japanese server players sailed at full speed towards the direction of the Chinese server, with high momentum. Some Japanese server players even sang the local war song. Although it sounded petty, the atmosphere was in place. The Chinese server players fought hard with the Shura tribe. The resources for killing were abundant, but it was particularly difficult to fight. After all, the opponents were all creatures in the divine realm. The third turn players of the Chinese server were basically wiped out at this time. Suddenly, a sharp and unpleasant song resounded through the sky. The Chinese and Ku were stunned and looked in the direction of the Japanese players. Are they here to support us? Fuck, this is really informative. The Japanese support the Chinese. A sow can climb a tree. Isn't this their battle song BGM? It's so ugly. What kind of aesthetics is this? We worked so hard to help you, and you use this thing to pollute my ears? I see. The Japanese are planning to drag us and the Shura tribe into their BGM and defeat us one by one. Sure enough, Liang Ting smiled with relief when she saw the Japanese help. It seems that these guys can still be saved. They haven't reached the point of being completely crazy. After this time, the Chinese server doesn't mind easing relations with the Japanese server. No mistakes. One song, one post, one content, one book, one bar, 1619, one book, one bar, one look. Because Ichiro Nomoto was still a third level player and had no flying ability, and Liang Ting had not added Ichiro Nomoto as a cross-server friend, it was difficult to fight together, so she walked to the side of the ship and jumped down, then flew quickly towards the other side close to the sea. The Chinese server players saw the commander's action and immediately covered him, stopping all the Shura creatures on the road. Liang Ting appeared on Ichiro Nomoto's ship soon and said directly, "We will fight head on. You are responsible for adding blood and long-range attacks, and you will hold off the enemies we attract." Ichiro Nomoto smiled and said, "Okay." The commanders of the two servers stood together at the same time. This scene was equivalent to telling the players of the two servers to jointly resist the enemy, so both sides temporarily put aside their grudges. When the 4th level players of the Chinese server were struggling to fight with the Shura tribe, they suddenly felt a sudden drop in pressure and found that the ships of the Japanese server had penetrated deep into the sky and carried out indiscriminate attacks on the Shura creatures in the sky, reducing their blood volume while also taking away some of their hatred. Kui has begun to feel powerless. The threat of the human race in the sky is too great for his people. He must hurry to reduce their number. Although the attack of the ships below is not high, it is disgusting. At the same time, there are conditions for concentrated fire to kill his people. I originally thought that the human race was still as weak as I remembered, but I didn't expect that they are so fierce in fighting now. There are still civilians in the Shura area. It is impossible for the combat power of his people to be severely damaged here. But it's a pity that this group of hungry people is now difficult to listen to his words. What should I do? Looking at the familiar human race on the ship, Kui gritted his teeth and appeared on the ship in an instant. His face was gloomy and embarrassed. He said, "How about a truce? Liang Ting and Ichiro Nomoto. What are you thinking about?" Seeing the two humans opposite looking at him like idiots, Kui gave in. "The Shura tribe agrees to leave, and we hope the humans will make way." Liang Ting laughed. "Even if you want to leave, will your zombies listen to you? They don't have much intelligence now." Kui said, "I will use my breath to intimidate them for a short time, and I hope the humans will not kill us all and let us leave." Kui was angry at the first sentence Ichiro said, "Return to the Shura area, and the humans will forgive the past." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 291. Disgusted. KUI took a deep breath and stared at Ichiro Nemoto. You want us Shura people to return to the Shura area? We have been imprisoned for countless years, and you dare to imprison us again? Ichiro Nemoto's words not only made KUI unbelievable, but even Liang Ting was a little surprised. You know, it took a lot of soul points to break the crack in the Japanese server, which is equivalent to wasting 1/3 of the soul points in the Japanese server's internal treasury. Ichiro Nemoto said, when the Shura tribe attacked us humans, they were destined to stand on the opposite side of us. If we don't kill you all, you are not qualified to negotiate with me. KUI laughed. How can you humans have the courage to make such a request to me? My people will not be imprisoned again, even if they die in battle. Ichiro Nemoto smiled. I can see that, and I also believe that the Shura tribe members present would rather suffer losses together with us humans than choose to return to the crack. But, if I'm not mistaken, there are still countless Shura tribe members in the crack, right? If we humans enter the Shura area and strangle all of your civilians, will it be okay? KUI's face suddenly darkened. Liang Ting didn't know that there were so many twists and turns. There were actually Shura civilians in the crack. She really didn't know. The reason why Ichiro Nemoto made such a guess was that he felt that the number of Shuras in the Windless Sea did not match the number that QG had said at the beginning. The number of Shuras that came out of the crack was at most 5 million, so half of them were still left in the Shuras. KUI suppressed his anger. Does the human race really intend to fight us to the death? Liang Ting laughed at the right time. Sure enough, there are double standard dogs everywhere. They just came out and killed us humans. Now it seems that we humans are wrong. With such IQ, why did you Japanese server choose to ally with them? It's exactly the same as the two races of Rangsu and Kixing in the Korean server. They are not related, right? The products of inbreeding are prone to brain damage. This was the first time that Ichiro Nemoto fought side by side with the Chinese server. It was also the first time that the commanders of the two servers had close contact. Nono muttered to Liang Ting, have you always been so poisonous? Liang Ting said TSK, the Chinese server's temperament is that if others are polite to me, we will say something nice to them. If others don't give us face, we will overturn the table. For such guys, it's already good enough not to let their family tree ascend to heaven. Ichiro Nemoto smiled and said, I've learned something. I always thought that you Chinese server were all the old men, but now it seems that you are quite true to your nature. KUI saw that the two humans didn't take him seriously at all. Although the Shura tribe and the Windless Sea fought back and forth with the humans, the casualties were increasing. He didn't dare to tear his face off. As the humans said, there were indeed nearly 5 million Shura civilians in the Shura area. If he really turned the table over, he was afraid that the humans would choose to enter and massacre the civilians. Liang Ting said to KUI, I advise you to go home obediently. Don't run around. There are no adults at home to educate you. It's easy to get beaten when you go out. You are in the God realm and have no social experience. You need integrity to get involved. KUI originally planned to discuss the terms with Ichiro Nemoto again, but the human next door insulted him again and again, and KUI had already wanted to kill her. Ichiro Nemoto saw what Ku was thinking. I advise you not to attack her. She is also a high-ranking member of one of our human branches. If you kill her, the human race over there will explode. Ku gritted his teeth. I can swear that we will let the Shura tribe leave. We will never provoke the human race in the future, and when the abyss invades, we can help Kyushu resist. Liang Ting and Ichiro Nemoto looked at each other. This condition is acceptable. The human race can definitely win. With one more powerful race to help, version 3.0 will have a better chance of winning. Ichiro Nemoto agreed, but Liang Ting felt angry. It was a bit embarrassing to let the other party leave so easily after being fooled. The Chinese server doesn't like to suffer losses. Liang Ting said, let your people stop first. After the relationship eased, the bloody breath burst out, and the Shura creatures in the Windless Sea stopped. Only then did the players look at each other seriously. They were hungry and skinny, and looked malnourished. If they didn't know it was in the game, the players would think that the Black and White Company was filming The Walking Dead. Good guy. If they were asked to act in a zombie movie, they wouldn't even need to wear makeup. Please welcome Uncle Jiu. Corpse, Jiu your mother. You think I don't exist, right? Are you planning to save me? You're off the rails. You're off the rails. When I saw that dead ghost Mingjia before, I thought the Shura tribe was quite handsome, but now it seems that I'm short-sighted. They are all in the realm of gods. Why are their appearances so different? Is Mingjia a mixed race? Did his father have him with another race? After Kui calmed down his people, he said, the Shura tribe still needs to lead the tribesmen in the crackout, and we hope that the human race will keep its promise. Ichiro Nemoto knew that the Chinese commander was a professional at verbal battles, so he motioned for the other party to speak. Liang Ting mocked him unceremoniously. Oh, you still want us to keep our promise? Do you have the nerve to ask us to keep our promise? Is your brain stuck in the door? Or is your head only the size of a walnut? Fish don't remember things? Kui's face turned red after being insulted again and again by the ant in front of him. He didn't dare to hit him, and he couldn't scold him. He was so angry that his whole body was shaking. What do you want? Liang Ting responded jokingly, let's be reasonable. Didn't you say you would swear? Why don't you swear? Do you think your words are just bullshit? I don't want the guy next door to me to be so stupid. Ichiro Nemoto glanced at the Chinese commander and said, just say what you said. What's the point of taking me with you? Ku gritted his teeth and swore, I have sworn. Let my people out. Liang Ting nodded. Of course, we humans are honest, but I have one last request. As long as you do it, we will leave immediately. Ku took a deep breath. Say it. Liang Ting smiled slyly. Return the soul value that opened the crack before. Ichiro Nemoto suddenly realized, yes, our soul value has not been returned yet. The commander of the Chinese server would have forgotten it if he hadn't mentioned it, and immediately looked at Ku with a bad look. When he was still in the Shura area, Ku felt a large amount of pure soul power transmitted. If it weren't for this soul power, the creatures of the Shura clan would have been weak for a while. Now that the human race intends to take back the soul power, Ku is unwilling, but under the pressure of the situation, he finally agreed with pain. Ichiro Nemoto received a reminder that the soul value in the main city of the Japanese server was lost and recovered, and his face immediately wrinkled with smiles. As long as the money is returned, everything will be fine. Liang Ting turned around and asked, did you receive the soul value? Ichiro Nemoto nodded, and Liang Ting smiled and said, okay, let's go. We lost today. We made a wasted trip and got nothing. Ichiro Nemoto knew that this was the Chinese server commander pointing a finger at him, telling him to let the Japanese server remember this favor. The human race in the windless sea area disappeared in batches, and soon only the Shura race was left floating in the sea area. Kyugu burst out with anger and roared to the sky, venting his dissatisfaction with the human race. This time he was really disgusted enough. Chapter 292, Master's Mission. In the coming period, both the Chinese and Japanese servers will pay special attention to the slightest movement in the surrounding areas, and while upgrading daily, they will also inquire about the movements of the Shura clan. However, what puzzles the two servers is that the Shura clan seems to have evaporated without any trace. If they hadn't known Ku's thoughts, Liang Ting and Ichiro Nemoto would have thought that the Shura clan had returned to the Shura region. As time went by, they gradually stopped paying attention to the Shura clan. Now the entire Chinese server has more regions than the other 6 servers combined, which is also because since the players have reached the 4th level, they have a certain level of individual combat capabilities. While other servers are still exploring in groups, the 4th level players in the Chinese server with the strength of the God realm can completely stand on their own. Because of this, the gap between the Chinese server and other servers is getting bigger and bigger. Yi Jian is exploring the western region today. Under normal circumstances, exploration is not something that a god level player like Yi Jian would do, but as soon as he went online today, Yi Jian received a system prompt showing that there is a sect mission to be completed. Yi Jian was a little surprised. He had been playing Planet for so long, but there was still a master's mission. This was the first time he heard of it. He immediately returned to the Chunhyang area to find LV Dongbin, and said rudely to his master, "Old man, do you have a mission for me?" LV Dongbin smiled. "Do you still remember the grudge between the Chiang clan and the Corpse clan?" Yi Jian nodded. Of course I remember. What's wrong? LV Dongbin said. Before that, the Thunder Star Lord of the Chiang area had fallen. The other 3 Star Lords who were confronting the Corpse Clan in the Chiang area at that time survived because of the mercy of the envoy of the Sutra altar. The various seats of the Corpse Clan later hunted down the remaining 6 Star Lords and drove the 6 Star Lords to a certain area in the west to kill them. The 6 Star Lords were unwilling to let go, so they collectively chose to release their own origins to commit suicide. Because of the fall of the Star Lords, the area is full of Chiang fruits, filled with a violent atmosphere, and the Corpse Clan cannot take a step further. Your task is to clear these Chiang fruits. As soon as Yi Jian heard it, he knew that this task was a tough one. Although he was a 4th level player, he was helpless even against the creatures in the Corpse Clan God Realm, so what could he do? He was about to refuse, but Liu Dongbin said, "This is mandatory. If you refuse, I will expel you from the sect and take back your inheritance. This scale is a task item, and it will take you to that area." Yi Jian almost spit out foul language. It was really mandatory, but Liu Dongbin grasped his weakness. He couldn't accept taking back his inheritance. He thought, forget it, at most I'll find my teammates to go with me and flatten all the red sun fruits in that area in one wave. Liu Dongbin suddenly said, other human beings are not allowed to participate in this mission. This is a test for you. Yi Jian couldn't help it. Are you kidding me? I'm a 4th level player, and you want me to handle something that even the corpse race can't handle? You overestimate me, don't you? Liu Dongbin smiled and said, don't worry, this mission item can allow you to enter the area without any obstacles. After entering, you don't need to worry, you just need to go there. Yi Jian said, huh? It's easy. It's just a little longer. By the way, you can help the Chinese server explore the area. He took the scale mission item, said hello to Liu Dongbin, and was about to leave. Suddenly, a voice rang out, Brother Jiangxing, Yi Jian. Yi Jian was numb when he heard the voice. No way, how could this guy be here? I've been hiding from her for so long, and you can find me? Question mark? Yi Jian turned back stiffly and greeted the creature who was talking. Hello, long time no see, Sister Long Kui. After that, he stared at LV Dongbin, as if asking why this guy was here. Long Kui excitedly ran up to hug Yi Jian and said with great joy, Brother Jiangxing, where have you been all this time? I can't find you in the main city of the human race. I asked other human races and they all said they didn't see you. Yi Jian was embarrassed. It's strange that you can find me. I specifically greeted the players and asked them to keep it a secret for me. LV Dongbin looked at his apprentice and Long Kui in front of him and said kindly, this time you go. Long Kui can help you, so I called her over. Long Kui immediately said, don't worry, Brother Jiangxing, I will definitely be able to help you this time. I'm very powerful now. I'm already a dragon envoy of the descendants of King Hao. Yi Jian gritted his teeth and stared at LV Dongbin. This old guy is really pitting his apprentice. Are you planning to find a wife for your apprentice? Do you believe that I won't see you off if you die? Really? Haha, that's amazing. But Long Kui, if you go with me to do the mission, won't there be no one to manage the extremely cold region? How about you stay at home and look after the house, and I'll find you when I come back? Yi Jian struggled. Long Kui shook her head. No need. I went to the human race's main city and found the commanding sister. She told me that the human race would help look after the house and asked me to help you complete the mission. Yi Jian. Damn it. The commanding woman is cheating me. There's a traitor. Liu Dongbin smiled and said, this time I'll let Long Kui follow you because of the mission. Without Long Kui, your mission will most likely not be completed. After that, he said to Long Kui, little guy of the dragon race, this time is your calamity, but also your opportunity. Remember, you must stay alive, understand? No mistakes in one song, one post, one content, one book, one forum, 1619, one book, one forum. Although Long Kui was a dragon envoy, she was simple-minded and did not understand the meaning of the words of the powerful creature in front of her. She just nodded in confusion, but Yi Jian heard it and asked directly, you mean, Long Kui might die this time? Lu Dongbin, if she follows you, she may die, but if she doesn't follow you, she will definitely die. In this case, do you still want her to stay? Although Yi Jian was afraid of Long Kui, he was still unwilling to let Long Kui be in danger. He immediately became angry. Old man, explain it clearly. What's going on? Lu Dongbin closed his eyes and his body turned into mist and disappeared. Yi Jian immediately received a system message showing that the master's mission had been changed. The content of the mission was consistent with what Lu Dongbin said, and there were rewards and penalties at the end. The reward was unknown, but the punishment was written as Long Kui died. What the hell? Question mark? Is this a bully? Exclamation mark. Do you know that I hate being threatened the most in my life? Am I, Yi Jian, the kind of person who will be threatened? Question mark. Then he said to Long Kui, you have to stay with me on this mission, and you are not allowed to leave for a single step. Do you understand? Long Kui was not stupid. She knew that she might die if she followed him this time, but as long as she could help brother Jiangxing, she was willing to take the risk. After hearing what Yi Jian said, she nodded quickly. Yes, I will follow brother Jiangxing. Looking at the green scales on his hand glowing, Yi Jian said, let's go. Chapter 293, Qingfeng Region. Long Kui had hardly been out of the Nine Heavens mysterious capital and the extreme cold region, except for the Silver Fire region that she had been to with Yi Jian before. This time, she acted with Yi Jian, and she showed her innocence from time to time. Yi Jian looked at the innocent creature in front of him, who was as innocent as the girl next door, and felt a little touched. It would be great if she was not a creature in the game. Brother Yi Jian, look at that creature. Does it look like a mage of your human race? He can spit fire. Brother Yi Jian, look at that flower. It's so beautiful. Colorful. Brother Yi Jian, are you unhappy to be out with Long Kui? Is Long Kui bothering you? Why don't you smile? Brother Yi Jian, help me catch that rabbit. It's so cute. Brother Yi Jian, this wreath is for you. I made it for you. Isn't it beautiful? Along the way, Long Kui's chirping voice kept surrounding Yi Jian's ears. Even the usually lively Jize shut up when he saw Long Kui. He really couldn't explain why this guy was so energetic. Exclamation mark. Along the way, Yi Jian and Long Kui passed through two regions. Because they were rushing to complete the task of the master, they did not stay on the road for a long time. They did not choose to negotiate with the creatures or races they met. When they met hostile creatures, Yi Jian went forward to deal with them. Following the direction indicated by the green scales, Yi Jian saw the border of the Qingfeng region, and met several unfamiliar seats of the Corpse Clan. The 9 Corpse Clan gods were all murderous, and gave people the feeling that they were still so annoying. If they had not crossed paths with the human race, Yi Jian would have thought they were villains in the game. Long Kui saw the 9 Corpse Clan bosses not far away and immediately hid behind Yi Jian. Yi Jian saw several Corpse Clans with hideous faces in front of him. Among them, the most familiar one was a creature, and the other 8 seats had only met Lai once. Lin, the first seat of the Corpse Clan. Realm, the initial stage of the god. Bing, the second seat of the Corpse Clan. Realm, the initial stage of the god. Dao, the third seat of the Corpse Clan. Realm, the initial stage of the god. The fourth seat of the Corpse Clan. Realm, early stage of god. All, the fifth seat of the Corpse Clan. Realm, early stage of god. Array, the sixth seat of the Corpse Clan. Realm, early stage of god. Ro, the seventh seat of the Corpse Clan. Realm, mid stage of god. In, the eighth seat of the Corpse Clan. Realm, mid stage of god. Before, the 9th seat of the Corpse Clan. Realm, late stage of god. Yi Jian and Long Kui went forward to negotiate, but the various creatures of the Corpse Clan did not choose to take action when they saw the human race coming. Yi Jian, old man Ji, what are you doing here? Ji has become accustomed to the rudeness of the human race. If one day the human race suddenly becomes polite to him, he should be alert. If he is not going to trick you, he is on the way to trick you. Why are the human race here? This is not the place you should come to. Ji responded expressionlessly. The strongest seat of the Corpse Clan, before, looked different from the other 8 seats of the Corpse Clan. He had no corpse spots, and was not skinny. Instead, his whole body was normal in color and his appearance was as pure as a child. Kian smiled and said, "Human clan, I have been hearing G talking about you. I haven't formally thanked you for helping the corpse clan. If it weren't for you, the Chiang clan would still be fighting with our corpse clan." Yi Jian smiled on the outside, but was speechless in his heart. "Fighting? I know that you corpse clan have been pinned to the ground and spitted on by the Chiang clan. After being beaten for so many years, what you said was fighting. How shameless. But because the corpse clan and the human clan have not had any bad relations for the time being, Yi Jian was embarrassed to refute them. "You're welcome. Old Manji was very well behaved when he was with us human clan. He didn't cause us any trouble," Yi Jian said disgustedly. Just as Ji was about to rebuke, Yi Jian interrupted him directly. "Speaking of which, old man Ji, the agreement you made with us humans was that you would guard our Jiushan Zuandu for 10 or 100 years. I forgot. Now that the deadline has arrived, you are running around." Ji was speechless for a moment. The deadline of the agreement he had made with the humans had indeed not arrived, but based on his understanding of the humans, he thought that the humans would not say anything if he ran out to breathe fresh air. Ji also knew that the human creature in front of him was just trying to disgust him in the most despicable way, and he didn't really want him to go back. Lai also knew the temperament of the human race, but knowing it with Lai did not mean that the other corpses understood. They glared and said, "Are the human creatures going to be slaughtered by us here?" Yi Jian snorted. 9 corpse clan seats are blocked here and have no way out. You still have the audacity to talk nonsense. If you can't do anything, just go back as soon as possible. Why waste time here? The other corpses were a little angry and smiled. "So, the human race can enter the King Feng area? No mistake. 1 poem, 1 post, 1 content, 1 book, 1 forum, 1619. Take a look." Yi Jian, "What else? Why do you think I'm here this time?" Kian looked like a child, but was very polite. "If the human race can go in, can you agree to one request from our corpse race? Just consider it as the corpse race owes the human race a favor." Yi Jian, "Tell me about it." Kian touched the boundary of the King Feng area, and a layer of barrier blocked Kian's contact. The 6 star gods of the Chiang tribe have been naturalized in the King Feng area. Although they can be said to have fallen due to the characteristics of the Chiang tribe, I don't know how long it will take for them to reappear. If the human race can enter the King Feng area, the corpse tribe hopes that the human race can eliminate all the Chiang fruits that have been transformed by the naturalization of the star gods in the King Feng area, so that the Chiang tribe will never reappear. The request of the corpse tribe is consistent with Yi Jian's master's mission. Even if the corpse tribe didn't say it, he would do it. However, Yi Jian adhered to the principle of not taking advantage of others, and said shamelessly, "Okay, if I go in, I can help you get rid of the red sun fruit, but the 9 seats of your corpse clan must be like all of you, guarding the 9 heavens Zuandu to defend against foreign enemies for 10 years. Yi Jian knew that his conditions were too much, so he didn't expect the other party to agree at the beginning, just to give the other party room for bargaining. Who would have thought that he nodded directly? "Okay, if the human race helps us to clear all the red sun fruits in the King Feng area, the 9 of us can help the human race guard it for 10 years. What the hell? Exclamation mark. It seems that these Star Kings really owe you a lot of money. You actually hate them so much that you even agree to such a dehumanizing condition? Now Yi Jian is embarrassed. At this time, Long Kui suddenly grabbed Yi Jian's sleeve and said, "Brother Jiangxing, let's go in quickly, I'm afraid of them." Yi Jian looked at Long Kui, who was trembling slightly, and was speechless in his heart. What was there to be afraid of? Although these guys looked disgusting, they were at least allies of the human race. But maybe Long Kui had never seen a ghost movie, and was not mentally prepared. Yi Jian also understood that she felt uncomfortable when she saw such disgusting creatures. "Okay, for old Manji's sake, you guys wait outside, and we'll go in and help you." In order to make Long Kui less scared, Yi Jian held Long Kui's hand and stepped directly into the King Feng area. Chapter 294, Thoughts Before. As soon as Yi Jian and Long Kui stepped into the King Feng area, the system prompted that a new area had been explored. Yi Jian went to the official website to check the information of the area, and some of the content puzzled Yi Jian. The Qingfeng area was originally an area where thunder creatures lived. Many years ago, there were nearly 10 species of creatures, large and small, living in this area. They jointly controlled the Qingfeng area, but they would not kill each other for robbing territory, or for other reasons. The purpose of these creatures in the Qingfeng area is very simple, that is, they are attracted by the thunder-dominated environment in the area. Except for the thunder-attributed creatures who regard this place as heaven, no other creatures like such a violent environment. And for some reason, suddenly one day the thunder attribute of the Qingfeng area gradually disappeared, and the creatures in the area also chose to leave. The official prompt of the time, when the thunder attribute element disappeared, coincided with the invasion of the void and the abyss. Yi Jian pondered, does it mean that there is actually an item or a creature in the Qingfeng area that produces thunder element? So it attracted countless thunder attributed creatures to take root, but because of the invasion of the void and the abyss, the items or creatures that produce thunder element chose to leave and fight the enemy. I don't know if it fell, or for some other reason, and couldn't return to the Qingfeng area. So from then on, the Qingfeng area has completely become an ordinary area. Yi Jian hates to use his brain. It would be great if the commander was by his side, and he would be responsible for fighting. This kind of brain-burning analysis is suitable for those weak women who can only whimper. Then he looked at Long Kui, who looked innocent beside him, and felt that it was not necessarily the case. It still depends on the person. Long Kui said, Brother Jiangxing, Yi Jian, the atmosphere in this area is so agitated, and the atmosphere is the same as the red sun fruit we encountered in the silver fire area before. Yi Jian suddenly remembered something. He suddenly remembered that when he was in the silver fire area before, a single red sun fruit made many creatures lose their minds. Now there are many red sun fruits growing in the Qingfeng area. Will Long Kui suddenly have an epileptic seizure and bite people? Exclamation mark. Looking at Long Kui carefully, Long Kui asked, Brother Jiangxing, why are you looking at me like this? Yi Jian asked, Long Kui, you don't feel any discomfort, do you? If you don't feel well, you should tell me. Long Kui shook her head, no, I'm fine. Yi Jian observed for a while, and found that there was nothing wrong with Long Kui. He thought that it might be because Long Kui's resistance was greatly improved after he was promoted to a god. Just as Yi Jian was about to follow the instructions of the scales and continue to move forward, the surrounding trees rustled and many birds flew away from the trees. There was a lot of noise. Yi Jian had fought many large and small battles with the human race and knew that in this situation, there must be a large number of creatures in action. Pulling out the sword and being alert, he said to Long Kui, there are a lot of creatures approaching, be careful. Long Kui sniffed the surrounding air, and then said, there are indeed a lot of creatures approaching, but the realms of these creatures are very low, and they are not threatening. At this time, tens of thousands of creatures with sloth-like appearance rushed out of the woods. Except that they were much faster than sloths, the rest of them were exactly the same as sloths in the real world. Sloth tribe, a medium race, omnivorous creatures, friendly, and do not actively attack creatures. Invaded by the breath of the red sun fruit, fell into irritability. Medium race, what definition? Does it mean that all members of the sloth tribe are medium creatures? Yi Jian hasn't come into contact with such weak creatures for a long time. High-level creatures are equivalent to the Overlord realm, and the Overlord realm is above the divine realm. Medium creatures are weaker than the Overlord realm. How to fight this? I can't bear it. Yi Jian now has the strength to kill late-stage gods, and can even fight with peak gods. However, when he saw this group of friendly lazy people, he didn't know what to do for a moment. Long Kui, as a creature in the realm of gods, also looked down on the lazy people in front of him, and asked Yi Jian, Brother Jiangxing, what should we do? Should we fight? Yi Jian shook his head. Fighting is useless. These creatures are just brainwashed by the red sun fruit, and they are so weak that there is no point in killing them, no experience and soul value. Long Kui pouted and thought, what should we do? Should we just let them go? The approaching lazy people raised their heavy claws and slapped Yi Jian's chest. Yi Jian found that they basically did not break the defense. Being surrounded by tens of thousands of creatures that he did not want to hurt, he was speechless and directly summoned the chicken. Long Kui was very happy to see Jizai. Yi Jian and Long Kui jumped onto Jizai's back. Yi Jian patted Jizai and said, "Let's go. Don't hurt these creatures." Jizai sniffed the breath in the King Feng area. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. He spread his wings and jumped up. Yi Jian just took out the scales to direct the direction, and found that Jizai had already flown in the direction indicated by the scales. He immediately felt that this time's master's mission was related to Jizai. This time the mission was to clear the red sun fruit. The last time in the Yinhuo area, Jizai and Long Kui were promoted to gods because they absorbed the red sun fruit. Could it be that the old guy Lu Dongbin was going to let Jizai advance again? At the same time, the 9 corpse clan seats outside the King Feng area were sensing the King Feng area. Although the 9 corpse clans could not set foot in, they could still clearly sense everything that happened inside. Ji looked grim and said to Kyan, "Eliminating the red sun fruit is equivalent to solving the red sun clan's problem. Why do we have to attack the human race?" Kyan shook his head. "I never said I would attack the human race. I want to kill the creature next to the human race. His aura is exactly the same as Lei Ming's aura of the Red Sun clan. No mistake, just read the content of the first 6 to 9 book. Among the other 7 corpses, only Lai supported Ji, and the rest of the corpses were on Kyan's side. Lai tried to persuade them. I have seen that creature. She has always lived under the jurisdiction of the human race. I can guarantee that she has never seen Lei Ming. We, the corpse clan, have no grudge against her, so there is really no need to offend the human race for such a baseless reason." Kyan said calmly, "There is really no need for us, the corpse clan, to offend the human race. After all, the corpse clan still owes us a favor, but the corpse clan is not afraid of offending the human race." Ji and Lai looked at each other, and Kyan continued, "If you two are afraid of the human race, you can choose not to participate at that time. I believe that the human race will not turn against us for a god from an allied race. We, the corpse clan, have 9 seats in the realm of gods, and I believe that the human race knows which is more important between them and an ordinary creature in the realm of gods." Ji shook his head. "You don't understand the human race. Their level of loyalty is simply in the advanced stage. They don't care how strong you are." But he also knew that he couldn't persuade Kyan. As the strongest seat in the corpse clan, basically all the seats obey Kyan. They all looked towards King Feng with concern, hoping that after completing their mission, the human race and Long Kui would directly step into the time-space rift and return to the human race's main city. They all knew that no matter how strong or weak the human race's creatures were, they all had the ability to cross the time-space rift. Chapter 295, Hostility Before. The chicken carried Yi Jian and Long Kui all the way. The mountains and plains along the way made the chicken very excited. It was the first time that Yi Jian saw the chicken express such joy. Is there something in the King Feng area that deserves the chicken's attention? Without exception, the creatures in the King Feng area were basically brainwashed by the smell of the red sun fruit. The longer they flew, the crazier the creatures they saw became. Even some herbivorous creatures attacked other creatures. Yi Jian looked at this group of non-threatening creatures killing each other, and he felt angry. The Star Master of the Red Sun tribe was really bad. It was obviously a war between the Red Sun tribe and the Corpse tribe, but he had to harm other creatures. The impression of the Red Sun tribe was not much for the players of the Chinese server. After all, they had never negotiated with each other. As for the Corpse tribe, because of the existence of Ji, they had a good impression of the Corpse tribe. But just before meeting the strongest seat of the Corpse tribe, a strange feeling made Yi Jian puzzled. He felt that the strongest seat of the Corpse tribe was not very friendly to the human race. Even Long Kui, who was always as white as a sheet of paper, felt terrified after seeing this. Could this creature, that looked like a child, be the ultimate villain like in the TV series? Yi Jian's mind was awakened by the scales on his hand that suddenly emitted a violent green light. Looking into the distance, Yi Jian was surprised by a large area of red fruit. Long Kui was surprised. These are all red sun fruits? Yi Jian was also surprised. The area is so large, it must be the size of a football field. Jizai excitedly jumped towards the football field. After Yi-Jian and Long Kui landed, Jizai closed his eyes and lay on the ground. The large red sun fruits around him gradually withered at a speed visible to the naked eye, and the red gas emitted gradually turned into green light and sank into Jizai's body. Yi-Jian knew that the red sun fruit would be of great benefit to Jizai, so he did not stop him. Long Kui turned around and asked, "Do you want to absorb the red sun fruit as well? You were promoted to a god after absorbing it last time. It should be helpful this time, right?" Long Kui shook her head and said, "No, brother Giant Crossing. These red sun fruits are too violent. I don't think I can bear it." Yi-Jian pondered for a moment and understood. After all, there was only one red sun fruit in the Silver Fire region before, and it was unknown how many years it had been stored. Long Kui could barely bear it. There were countless red sun fruits here, and they were naturalized by the Star Lord. It was indeed not very safe. Jizai absorbed very quickly. After only 10 minutes, he had absorbed half of the football field. It was estimated that it would be done in no time. The 9 seats of the Corpse clan were dazed outside the Qingfeng region at this time. The 9 creatures seemed to be unable to speak, but just waited quietly. Suddenly, the 9 Corpse clan seats turned their heads at the same time and looked at the barrier of the Qingfeng region. Lin said, "The barrier is about to disappear. It seems that the human race succeeded. Dao, I thought it would take a few days, but I didn't expect that in less than an afternoon, the red sun fruit inside was cleared. I underestimated this human race. Zen, in this case, the remaining Star Kings of Chiang have been dealt with, and there is no need for us to stay here." Zen's words were equivalent to telling the corpses present that he would not participate in the feud between Kyan and the human race. Anyone who had the same idea as him could leave with him. The rest of the corpses looked at Zen meaningfully. Except for Kyan, Ji, and Lai, the rest of the corpses told them that they wanted to leave. After the 6 corpses left, Kyan smiled and said to Ji, "You stayed to stop me?" Ji didn't say anything, which was equivalent to tacit agreement. Kyan asked Lai again, "What about you? You don't have many friends with the human race. Are you going to help me or him by staying?" Lai also didn't say anything. In fact, Lai's idea was very simple. When he confronted several Star Lords of the Chiang clan in the Sea of Corpses, it was the mighty human who saved him. Now that Kyan attacked the human race, Lai stayed behind just to repay the favor. Kyan sighed like a child, looking very funny. "You should know that, if I take action, you can't stop me. Gee, Lai and I can't stop you together, and we don't plan to do it. We just want to tell you that the human just now, his master is Sheng Mingjing. If you rashly attack him like this, it is equivalent to offending a creature of Sheng Mingjing." Kyan shook his head. "That's very simple. Just kill him as well, so that no human will know, and just think that he fell in danger in the Qingfeng area." Ji and Lai didn't know what to say. They both knew that the human race would not die easily. Just as they were about to continue persuading, Kyan's figure had disappeared. Ji was shocked. Not good. Ji and Lai disappeared at the same time, and they must catch up. With Kyan's strength, he was fully capable of killing them instantly. Jizi had almost absorbed all of the red sun fruit and was now in a deep sleep. Yi-Jian knew that Jizi could not return to the mount system and could not move easily, so he could only stand there and wait. The task in the taskbar had been completed. Yi-Jian was speechless. The old man Lu Dongban had said that this task was so mysterious before, but he didn't expect it to be so simple. Bored Yi-Jian was teaching Long Kui how to play rock paper scissors. Suddenly, the scales on his hand glowed. Yi-Jian was stunned for a moment. Wasn't the task already completed? Why are you still lighting it? Isn't it a waste of electricity? Suddenly, an ominous premonition came over him. Yi-Jian seemed to have returned to the time when he was sparring with Zhu Beige's clone. He subconsciously pulled Long Kui back and raised the sword blade. With a ding sound, a sharp claw appeared above the sword blade. Yi-Jian blocked the attack with his consciousness. He looked at the human race in front of him in amazement. How could the strength of the god realm block his hidden attack? Question mark? Seeing the creature emerging, Yi-Jian's face darkened. Does the corpse clan intend to tear its face with the human clan? Kyan didn't say anything, and suddenly the figures of Ji and Lai appeared behind him. Seeing Kyan's attack being blocked by the human clan's weapons, they felt incredible. The human clan in the divine realm blocked the attack of the divine realm, but they crossed two realms in the middle. No mistake, one sentence, one post, one content, 1619, one book, one bar, take a look. Ji flashed and appeared beside Yi Jian. Yi Jian also looked at the familiar corpse clan warily. Ji said, take this dragon creature away, Kyan intends to kill her. Yi Jian did not let down his guard. The strongest seat of your corpse clan attacked me, and you didn't help him? Infernal affairs? Mission impossible? Gain my trust, and then stab me in the back! Exclamation mark. I have seen many Hong Kong police and gangster spy movies. Kyan withdrew his attack and said lightly, the human race and the corpse race have no intention of making enemies with you. I just want the creature next to you. Yi Jian was wary of the three corpses in front of him. Long Kui was trembling with fear under Kyan's gaze. Yi Jian stood in front of Long Kui and shouted to Kyan, I want your mother. You said you want me to give it to me? Who do you think you are? If you dare to attack Long Kui today, the human race will fight you to the death. After that, Yi Jian silently started the live broadcast and changed the title to The Corpse Race Attacks the Human Race in the Wild. Many players saw that the great god Jiangxing started the live broadcast and took such an attractive title, and they all rushed into the live broadcast room to find out what's going on. The corpse race is going to get it for free without paying. Do you want to record the screen? It can be used as evidence in the lawsuit in the future. It seems that you are not joking. This posture and atmosphere are really solemn. No way. Aren't we allies with the corpse race? Why would they rashly attack us? The great god Jiangxing. Hurry up and record the screen and notify the commander. If a fight really breaks out, I guess we will have to start a battle with the corpse race. Chapter 296, Chicken's Death. Yi Jian was now terrified and felt his adrenaline surge. After playing Planet for so long, this was the first time Yi Jian felt a sense of crisis. If he was alone here, it didn't matter if he died, but now Kyan's target was Long Kui. Long Kui was not like a player. If she was killed, she would be really gone. The reason why Yi Jian was able to withstand Kyan's attack just now was, first, because Kyan didn't think that he could find him at all, so he didn't use force, but just hit him casually. Second, because the weapon in Yi Jian's hand was given by Liu Dongbin, it was extremely tough, so he was lucky enough to protect Long Kui. Yi Jian looked at Long Kui and winked at her, asking her to find her chance to activate the return to the city. As long as Long Kui ran away, he would have no pressure. Long Kui understood Yi Jian's eyes, knew that the human race would not die easily, and nodded slightly. Yi Jian forced himself to calm down and said to Kyan, the human race helped the corpse race to solve the problem of the red sun fruit in the Qingfeng area. Is this how the corpse race repays us? Kyan, the corpse race never intended to make enemies with the human race from the beginning to the end. I just want this dragon creature. He has the breath of the red sun star lord. Chiang is a mortal enemy of the corpse race, and she must die no matter what. Yi Jian, Long Kui is my family. I will not hand over the lives of my family members to you. If you intend to go your own way, the corpse race will be prepared to be trampled by the human race. Kyan smiled. You resisted my attack with the divine realm. You should be considered a leader among the human race. If you insist on protecting this dragon creature, then I will kill you too. The Chinese server players who were watching the live broadcast knew that the great god Jiangxing was in trouble. Facing the situation of the divine realm, it was not something he could solve. Liangting immediately sent a private message to Yi Jian. There is no return point for our Chinese server in the Qingfeng area where you are. Hold on, we will go over to support you now. Liangting didn't have time to start the campaign and organize players. She directly sent the coordinates on the world channel and informed the 4th level players of the Chinese server who were fine to go to the coordinates immediately to support Jiangxing. Countless 4th level players of the Chinese server teleported to the nearest teleportation point and rushed to the Qingfeng area. Looking at the human race in front of him in a daze, he slowly said, a creature in the realm of gods is not worthy of your protection. Leave her to me. The 9 seats in the realm of gods of the corpse clan will be the strongest backing of the human race. In order to delay time, Yi Jian could not be tough on the surface and didn't know how to answer for a while. Long Kui knew in her heart that brother Jiang Xing would never let herself be in danger. She secretly glanced in the direction of Jizai. Jizai, who had absorbed a lot of Chiang's breath, had already broken through the Holy Spirit realm. Secretly pulling Yi Jian's sleeve, Yi Jian also noticed Jizai's strength at this time. He was very annoyed. This master's mission was really a pit. If Long Kui was in danger, he would definitely smash the old guy Lu Dongban's head next time he met him. Yi Jian turned his head and asked Ji, "You are the guardian creature of our human race. Are you planning to attack Long Kui too?" Ji shook his head. "I disagree. I can also keep my promise to help you. Kyan will not kill me, but my realm is not Kyan's opponent. You still have to find a way to let Long Kui leave." Yi Jian asked Lai again, "What about you?" Lai looked forward, and Kyan also looked at Lai. The latter said, "Even if Ji and I join forces, we are still no match for Kyan. If you are sure you can escape in a short time, I can stop Kyan with Ji." Kyan looked at Yi Jian with a relieved look. "It seems that we have not reached a consensus in this case." Before Kyan finished speaking, Kyan's figure had disappeared. Before Yi Jian could react, Ji and Lai appeared in front of Yi Jian at the same time. The two corpse clan seats struggled to resist Kyan's offensive. Yi Jian knew that the talks had failed and shouted to Long Kui, "Go to Jizai, you activate the return to city and force him back. As long as you go back, I have no worries." Long Kui didn't even have time to nod and rushed to burst out the extreme speed of her own divine mirror, grasped Jizai's exposed tooth, and immediately activated the return to city scroll. Jizai closed his eyes and remained unmoved. Kyan felt the spatial energy fluctuations at Long Kui's position and was surprised that a creature in the divine realm could actually use spatial abilities. Is he trying to escape? Kyan frowned and looked at the two corpse creatures in front of him. "Get out of the way." Ji and Lai didn't say anything. The silence made Kyan know their decision. He sighed, and the next second Ji and Lai looked at the hand that pierced their chests in disbelief. Kyan actually killed his colleague who was also a member of the corpse clan! Exclamation mark. If Ji and Lai had been alert and focused, they would not have been seriously injured by Kyan. But they were wrong, because they thought Kyan would not kill them, so they focused all their attention on stopping Kyan. They did not expect Kyan to kill even his own people in order to strangle this dragon creature. Kyan pulled out the hands that had pierced his colleague. Ji and Lai opened their eyes and mouths wide. Countless grey light balls sprayed from their facial features. Ji and Lai were completely shattered, and the corpse key in their bodies was leaking out violently. This was already a sign of imminent demise. The Chinese server players watching the live broadcast were stunned. Fuck. Old man Ji and old man Lai were killed? No way. Is it fake? They are all corpses. No mistake. One post, one content, one book, one forum, 1619, one book, one forum, one post, one content. To kill Sister Long Kui, he even killed his own people. Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up. Ji and Lai were killed. No one can stop this bastard. Too late. Fuck. Yi Jian was shocked to see two corpses falling from the sky. Lai was unfamiliar to him, but he died to help him. Ji had been in Jiushan Zuandu for such a long time. Although he often showed disdain for the human race, he did have feelings for them. Although he looked a little ugly, there was an old man in the family, so the players were happy to brag with Ji. When Lai fell, he looked forward in disbelief, while when Ji fell, he stared at Yi Jian and Long Kui, as if telling himself that he must escape. Yi Jian was completely angry. The inheritance of the fourth turn sword immortal in his body was extremely unstable, and the system prompt followed. Lack of mental skills failed to impact the fifth turn. At the same time, LV Dongbin, who was far away in the Chunayang area, slowly opened his eyes and looked in the direction of the Qingfeng area. He was expressionless and thoughtful, and finally closed his eyes again. Yi Jian swung his sword and was about to fight Kyan, but Kyan, after severely injuring Ji and Lai, flashed in front of Long Kui and Jizai, swung his claws to produce an exploding corpse blade that rolled towards Long Kui. The 10-second return time had just passed halfway, and when he saw the corpse blade and was about to interrupt the return, Jizai suddenly opened his eyes and used his huge body to roll Long Kui. The corpse blade directly sank into Jizai's body. In order to protect Long Kui, Jizai used his body to resist Khan's attack. Yi Jian immediately received a system prompt. Player Mount Jizai died. Dragon Seedling, obtained from Stone Pressure Hell. King Long Breath Reset. Dragon Key, obtained from Extreme Cold Region. Exhausted. Yi Jian couldn't believe that Jizai died so easily, and Long Kui couldn't feel Jizai's breath. Did he die to protect himself? Exclamation mark. Jizai is dead. Even the players watching the live broadcast couldn't believe it when they saw this scene. Chapter 297, Long Kui's Fall. The moment Jizai died, the three beasts far away on Xuanwu Island immediately felt it and looked towards the direction of King Feng in horror. The bursting breath of the white tiger swept several kilometers nearby. The remnant souls of the Shura clan on the island didn't know what happened, but the players knew it clearly. In the eyes of the remnant souls of the Shura clan, the human creatures in front of them were no longer carefree as usual, and they were all extremely angry. The white tiger roared loudly, "How brave! Who killed King Lang?" The Suzaku also made a shocking cry, and the head of the black tortoise emerged from the water. "The Suzaku and I can't leave the island. White tiger, you go and check it out immediately. I want to know who attacked our beasts." Obviously, the black tortoise was also angry. Without Xuanwu's words, the white tiger directly summoned a space crack on the black tortoise island and disappeared in an instant. The players also seized the opportunity to stare at the time and space crack summoned by the white tiger. If nothing unexpected happens, this is the fastest shortcut to the King Feng area. Immediately inform the world channel of the situation of the time and space crack on the black tortoise island. Liang Ting immediately asked the 4th level players who were already outside to collectively teleport to Xuanwu Island and go to King Feng area through the space-time crack of the white tiger. Qian frowned after killing Jizai. This was already a complete offense to the human race. He originally just wanted to kill this creature of the dragon race, but he didn't expect that this dragon race, which had not moved, would suddenly block his attack with its body. Yi Jian seemed to have lost his mind. He flashed and appeared beside Qian and swung a sword at Qian's neck. Qian was unmoved and looked at Yi Jian coldly. The blade hit Qian's neck, but couldn't hurt him at all. Qian didn't want to communicate too much with the human race. Since he had already offended them, there was no need to make unnecessary negotiations. He looked at Long Kui, who was about to activate the teleportation successfully, and appeared in front of her in an instant. After Jizai died, the body had disappeared. Thunder sounded over the King Feng area. Long Kui stood alone in the same place without any resistance to Qian's appearance. The thunder in the sky seemed to foreshadow Long Kui's death. Seeing the butcher knife in front of him raised, Yi Jian shouted in despair, "No." His mind was like a slideshow, and scenes of communication between Long Kui and himself appeared one by one. "Don't worry, brother Jiangxing, I will definitely be able to help you this time. I'm very powerful now. I'm already a dragon envoy of the descendants of King Hao. Brother Yi Jian, look at that creature. Does it look like a wizard of your human race? He can breathe fire. Brother Yi Jian, look at that flower. It's so beautiful. Colorful. Brother Yi Jian, are you unhappy that you and Long Kui came out? Does Long Kui bother you? Why don't you smile? Brother Yi Jian, please help me catch that rabbit. It's so cute. Brother Yi Jian, this wreath is for you. I made it for you. Isn't it beautiful?" Yi Jian's tears flowed unconsciously. When Long Kui knew that she was about to die, she looked at Yi Jian with a reluctant expression, but the corners of her mouth were forced to rise, as if saying goodbye to herself. Under Yi Jian's desperate gaze, Qian's claws directly ripped open Long Kui's chest. The teleportation was planned, and Long Kui fell straight down. The deep wounds that could be seen through the bones had sentenced Long Kui to death. Qian sighed, finally killed it, turned around and looked at the human race who seemed to have lost their souls, and said, "This creature has the same breath of the Red Sun Star Lord in its body. For the sake of the corpse race, I must kill her. From now on, the corpse race and the human race are absolute allies." Yi Jian didn't hear any sound in his ears, as if his head was emptied. The blow of Jizai and Long Kui's death made Yi Jian feel the reality of planet for the first time. Qian looked around. The mounts of the human race were killed by him, and they were all pierced with blood by Libby. They were lying on the ground unwillingly watching the scene in front of them. Two corpse races were about to fall. After Long Kui fell, blood kept flowing from her mouth, and she looked at Yu Jian reluctantly. Brother Jiangxing. Brother, I like you. I'm in so much pain. Long Kui, am I going to die? Brother Yu Jian, why are you crying? Will Long Kui never see Brother Jiangxing again? I'm so sleepy. Yu Jian approached Long Kui like a zombie, holding her hand and crying. Long Kui smiled and raised her hand to wipe away Yu Jian's tears. The pain made her unable to say a word. The players in the live broadcast room also choked up after seeing the scene. It seemed as if a flame was burning in their hearts, and they couldn't vent it. All the 4th level players put down their work and chose to go to Xuanwu Island to teleport to Qingfeng area. However, the distance between the two areas was too far, and the teleportation took a certain amount of time. Yi Jian said in a choked voice, Long Kui please, don't die. Please. Long Kui used up her last strength to say, Brother Yi Jian, do you like Long Kui? Yi Jian cried, yes, Brother Jiangxing likes Long Kui the most. Long Kui smiled and closed her eyes. Then, okay, no mistake, 1 post, 1 content, 1619, 1 book, 1 bar. Seeing Long Kui completely out of breath in front of him, Yi Jian hurriedly stroked Long Kui's cheek, panting, no, don't sleep. Get up. Get up quickly. Then he threw down the sword blade and covered Long Kui's chest with both hands and kept pressing. Doctors and nurses in TV dramas save people like this, and I can definitely do it too. TV dramas don't lie. While pressing Long Kui's chest, Yi Jian took out all the life-saving drugs in the backpack, blood bottles, resistance drugs, etc., all poured on Long Kui's wound, and even the newly refreshed and reset dragon seedlings in the backpack were stuffed into Long Kui's mouth. However, Long Kui, who had lost her breath, remained motionless and did not react. After achieving her goal, Kyan planned to leave and summoned a space crack. She looked at the actions of this human race with an expressionless face and sank directly into the space crack without saying a word. However, when Kyan's foot just stepped into the space crack, an angry tiger roar came from the crack. Kyan immediately pulled his foot out and dodged a certain distance. It's you. Kill King Lung? The voice of the white tiger came from the crack, and then a snow-white giant tiger stepped out of the space crack, staring at Kyan. The white tiger at the peak of the god appeared in the Qingfeng area, staring at Kyan, as if he was going to tear him apart in the next moment. Kyan felt threatened and fearful. The realm of the creature in front of him was higher than his own, and the breath he exuded also suppressed his corpse ki. Kyan knew that he was no match for him anyway, and he could only run for his life. At this time, a large number of players also poured out of the space crack, and Liang Ting rushed to Yi Jian and Long Kui as soon as possible. Yi Jian immediately grabbed Liang Ting and shouted, quick, use your resurrection skill to save Long Kui. Liang Ting squatted down without Yi Jian's reminder and tried to use the skill Buddha's mercy on Long Kui, but the system prompted that she had been dead for too long and could not be used. Seeing Liang Ting shaking her head in silence, Yi Jian shouted to the sky, damn officials. Please save Long Kui. Why set up such a disgusting plot? Please modify the data. Let Long Kui revive. Seeing Yi Jian's fury, the players who appeared from the space-time rift gritted their teeth and looked forward angrily. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 298, Qingfeng Regional Crisis. Countless players surrounded Kyan, but Beihu did not give him any chance to negotiate and directly rushed towards the strongest member of the Corpse Clan. Kyan kept using Corpse Ki to transform his body and had to dodge Beihu's attack again and again. For this creature at the peak of the god level, Kyan could only flee. He never thought that just killing a dragon clan at the god level would actually attract such a powerful creature. Human race, are you planning to completely break up with our Corpse Clan for a god? Kyan saw that the human race and this powerful creature were in the same group. Liang Ting stood up and was furious. You can't represent the Corpse Clan. At this time, another 6 Corpse Clan members also appeared beside Ji Yuli. Looking at the 2 fellow clan members who inhale less and exhale more, and seeing their injuries, they never thought that Kyan would kill 2 Corpse Clan members. You must know that in the countless years of fighting with the Chiang clan, no Corpse Clan member has fallen. Kyan found out the rest of the seats had appeared at the scene, and shouted at them. Then the Corpse Clan will completely break with the human clan. Think clearly. Once I die, the Corpse Clan will slaughter the human clan as much as they want. Yi Jian turned his head and looked forward. Now he hated Kyan who killed Long Kui and Jizai, and Lu Dongbin who issued the master's mission. Bai Hu didn't waste time talking to Kyan, and the white aura on his body erupted. Dozens of tornadoes with wind blades appeared in the Qingfeng area, and they were constantly moving towards the front. Kyan felt an endless threat, and shouted to the other 6 members of the Corpse Clan, Lin, Bing, fight, Zhe, Zen, Zai. Let's join forces to kill these creatures. Otherwise, none of us can escape. Zai, the strongest of the 6 Corpse Clan, stared at Kyan and said, when you killed Ji and Lai, you no longer have the qualifications to order us. Zen gritted his teeth. The Corpse Clan has never attacked their own kind for countless years in order to survive. Now you are slaughtering your own kind for your own selfish desires. Kyan, you have changed. Kyan emitted a grey mist to resist the tornado and shouted, I'm not doing this for myself. There is a breath of thunder on that dragon. You must have felt it. I'm doing this for the future of the Corpse Clan. White Tiger growled. After all, you have to die too. After that, he pounced into the tornado. When Kyan was resisting the tornado with all his strength, White Tiger appeared in front of him and opened his mouth to bite Kyan's head directly, biting off his neck directly, leaving only a headless corpse. The monstrous corpse gas sprayed out from the neck of the former. Zai's face changed drastically, and he shouted to the human race, the corpse gas of the former will pollute this area. Find a way to stop these corpse gas. Otherwise, all the creatures in this area will become zombies. The players hated the former, but they had no ill will towards the other corpse races. When they heard Zai's words, they immediately jumped up and attacked the corpse gas running around in the sky. Although Bai Hu has absolute strength, his ability is more about fighting. He has no way to deal with these dense viruses. In order to prevent more corpse gas from appearing, Bai Hu hurriedly swallowed the corpse of the former who sprayed corpse gas into his stomach. However, the Qingfeng area has been covered by the corpse gas all over the sky. The energy contained in a creature in the late stage of the god is unimaginable. Yi Jian stared at the sky with a blank look in his eyes, muttering to himself, I not only killed Long Kui and Jizai, but also killed all the creatures in this area. The 4 turn players in the Qingfeng area collectively received a notification from the system. Qingfeng area full countdown. 30:00 feet Qingfeng area full countdown. 29:59 feet. The sudden system notification made the players at a loss, and they all looked at Liang Ting. Liang Ting knew that the system gave this time with only 2 meanings. One is that all the creatures in the Qingfeng area must be evacuated within 30 minutes to avoid being invaded by corpse key, but 30 minutes is too short, and it is impossible to complete. The second possibility is that there must be a backup plan in the Qingfeng area to deal with these corpse key. Liang Ting is more inclined to the latter. At least this possibility makes her feel less guilty. Although Bai Hu killed Zan, he is not a fool. The current situation is caused by himself, and he will not walk away after avenging King Lang. Liang Ting shouted, all players should immediately explore the Qingfeng area. There must be a setting here that can solve this crisis. Send the coordinates immediately if you find any suspicious places. After that, she said to Bai Hu, Senior Bai Hu, my speed is limited. The corpse key will completely erupt in half an hour. During this time, I hope you can take me on the road. Although Bai Hu didn't know how long half an hour was, he felt the state of the corpse key in the sky and knew that time must be very tight. He nodded and shouted, okay. All the 4th level players flew up to conduct a carpet search of the Qingfeng area. Yi Jian also carried Long Kui's body on his back and asked Bai Hu, you are a divine beast. You must have a way to save Long Kui, right? Please. Tell me. Beihu looked at the hollow human race and shook his head. She has completely fallen. There is no possibility of survival. Yi Jian's thighs became weak when he heard Beihu's words. Now Yi Jian no longer has the majesty of the great god of the Chinese server, as if he was a dried corpse crushed by reality. No mistakes in one song, one post, one content, one book, one bar, 1619, one book, one bar, one look. At this moment, a large number of creatures of various races suddenly emerged from the forest. The sloth tribe, the rhino tribe, the long deer tribe, the river mandarin duck tribe, the red crane tribe. Many friendly races gathered around Yi Jian. Some nuzzled Yi Jian, some bit the corner of Yi Jian's clothes with their mouths and pulled, and some kept calling Yi Jian White Tiger, the corpse tribe. Liang Ting and Yi Jian looked at this group of creatures that did not pose a threat, but appeared for unknown reasons. Beihu said, they want you to follow them. Liang Ting said to Yi Jian, they are a race that has survived in this area for countless years. Maybe they know a way to resolve this crisis. Follow them. Beihu, I'll take you there, and you get on my back. Liang Ting jumped up without saying a word. Yi Jian carried Long Kui on his back and held her hand tightly. He thought to himself, don't worry, Long Kui. I won't let the creatures in Qingfeng area be killed innocently like you. I can't save you, but I must save them. Yi Jian carried Long Kui and Liang Ting on his back and grabbed the hair on Beihu's back. The other 6 members of the corpse clan said to them, we will work together to stabilize these corpse key. I hope you hurry up. We can't resist the corpse key in front of us for long. The creatures in Qingfeng area saw Yi Jian's actions and turned around and ran in one direction at the same time. Beihu saw that their speed was so slow and summoned the wind road to help them speed up. How long would it take for his speed at the divine realm to catch up with Yi group of middle level creatures? While the players, White Tiger, and the corpse tribe were resolving the crisis in the Qingfeng region, 3 space-time cracks suddenly appeared on Xuanwu Island in the Huaxia server area. Xuanwu and Suzaku looked up and stared at the 3 space-time cracks. Xuanwu said to Suzaku, this is the breath of the Shura clan. Suzaku cried, taking advantage of the absence of White Tiger, they attacked at this time. They really know how to choose the time. Xuanwu, the other 2 breaths are stronger than you and me. This is a premeditated action. It seems that the enemies in the Qingfeng region have reached a deal with the Shura clan. Chapter 299, Lu Dongban gets angry. Xuanwu looked at Kui who appeared in the sky and said in a bad tone, when did the Shura tribe join forces with the corpse tribe? Kui appeared in the sky above Xuanwu Island. I didn't expect that the corpse tribe would have any intersection with you humans. Xuanwu asked, did you kill the remaining star lords of the Qiang tribe? Kui shook his head, of course. After all, they should be considered enemies of the human race. I'm helping the human race solve the future troubles. Xuanwu then set up a seal to lure the corpse tribe over. Kui smiled. Yes, only in this way can I lure the human army to the direction of the corpse tribe, but I didn't expect that even the White Tiger would be lured away. Xuanwu, then are you planning to step over me and set foot in Kaishu this time? Or, for the remnant soul of Hanshura? Kui said coldly, sure enough, he is still alive. Hand him over, and I can leave immediately. Xuanwu looked at the other 2 creatures. What benefits did the Shura tribe give to your Rangsu and Qixing tribes? Let you 2 Kaishu creatures of the Holy Mirror help them? Rangsu of the Rangsu tribe had a gloomy expression. Ku promised us that, if we help him get what he wants, he will help us take back the Endless Territory. Suzaku, the Endless Territory is also the territory of the human race. You were just a vassal of the human race. Are you planning to usurp the throne? Zhao Xing said calmly, the human race in the Endless Territory is too weak and unworthy of managing the Endless Territory. Our Rangsu and Qixing tribes never intend to make enemies with the human race, but the Endless Territory must be managed by Rangsu and Qixing. Suzaku, nonsense. Kui said, one of you is a late stage god, and the other is a peak god. You can't stop the 3 of us. Hand over your souls and we will leave immediately. Xuanwu fell silent and looked at Suzaku, but Suzaku saw the concern in Xuanwu's eyes. KUI, as a mid-stage god, was not enough to prove his existence, but the two early-stage saints, Rangsu and Zhaoxing, were difficult to deal with. As divine beasts, if they were determined to escape, they would be able to leave, but it was almost impossible to protect the remnant souls of the Shura clan on Xuanwu Island. KUI was not in a hurry, and waited for Xuanwu's reply. To be honest, he really didn't dare to offend the human race, otherwise he would not have led the human army to leave. As for the promises to Rangsu and Kixing, KUI knew that there were other branches of the human race. The other party told him that the human race in the Endless Territory only had the strength of a hegemon. Xuanwu did not answer KUI, but asked Rangsu and Zhaoxing, two clan leaders. The Shura clan was the enemy of Kaishu in the ancient times, when the three religions were fighting against the void and the abyss. Are you sure you still want to help him? Rangsu and Zhaoxing frowned slightly. They knew this history, but since they appeared here, it also proved that they had weighed the pros and cons. They did not answer Xuanwu's questions. Xuanwu got the other party's attitude, and the vermilion bird sang to the sky at this time, and the loud and sharp sound resounded throughout the entire Chinese territory. A space crack appeared on Xuanwu Island, and Lu Dongbin walked out, looked at the three creatures in the sky, and said with a smile, "I haven't seen you three for many years. I didn't expect that you still have such a friendship." The three creatures, KUI, Rangsu, and Zhaoxing, were shocked when they saw the newcomers, and immediately planned to turn around and flee, but found that the space crack behind them had disappeared. Lu Dongbin put away his smile and his face was cold. The creatures of the Shura clan guard the human race for 10 years. I can tell you the information you want to know. KUI immediately landed on the ground and nodded in fear. I agree. 10 years. I will guard the human race for 10 years. For KUI, 10 years is a short time, and he has waited for countless years. As long as he can know the news of his father, let alone 10 years, even 100 years, or 1,000 years, he is willing. KUI also knows that the other party will not deceive him. There are many powerful people in Kaishu, and there is almost no deception. Facing the appearance of LV Dongbin, Rangsu and Zhaoxing exuded a faint aura. They were definitely not opponents. Even if the two fought desperately, the possibility of escape was very small, let alone defeating each other. LV Dongbin turned his head and looked at the other two creatures, Rangsu and Kixing. The human race asked you to guard the Endless Territory in the past to let you take care of the Abyss Passage there. In these years, when the human race was extinct, you have forgotten your mission and dared to attack the human race. Your behavior is worse than that of the Shura clan. LV Dongbin rarely got angry, but this time he was really angered by Rangsu and Kixing. Rangsu and Zhaoxing turned around and fled in tacit understanding. The reasons he said could deceive the Shura clan, the human race now, and even himself, but they could not deceive the great powers of Jiuzhou in ancient times. LV Dongbin's body disappeared silently, and the next moment he appeared in front of the two creatures. Without waiting for the other party to speak, he drew out the sword and chopped it down with a calm face. Hard sword before Rangsu could react, his left hand had been cut off. Zhao Crossing looked at Ranzu in astonishment, and a voice came again faintly. Kaijian is a perfect poem, a perfect content, a perfect book, a perfect forum. Zhao Crossing subconsciously raised his hand to block, and then his right hand was also cut off. Lu Dongbin put away the sword blade, the two broken arms. When the Abyss Passage of the Endless Territory is opened, I will return them to you. In the next few days, if there is any disaster or war in the Endless Territory, you too, including the two tribes of creatures you hid in the Sea of Corpses in the Chiang region, will die. Ranzu and Zhao Crossing covered the wounds of their broken arms and dared not resist. They were extremely frightened. The two tribesmen in the Sea of Corpses in the Chiang region had concealed the 9 seats of the Corpse clan with the help of the Holy Mirror, but now they were revealed by the other party. It turns out that the powerful people of Jiuzhou have always known Jiuzhou very well. Not daring to pick up the broken arms that fell on the sea, Ranzu and Zhao Crossing saluted Lu Dongbin and left immediately. Ku saw the whole process. Fortunately, he admitted his mistakes sincerely, otherwise he would have suffered a heavy loss. Even the creatures of Sheng Mingjing were easily defeated by the great man in front of him. If he had been a little more stubborn, he would have been dead. Fortunately, he was used to being bullied by the human race in the Shura area and learned to endure it. Otherwise, according to his previous temper, he would have been really angry. Lu Dongbin returned to Xuanwu Island in an instant and didn't look at Q more. Xuanwu said, "Pure Yang Sword Immortal, I sense that King Lang's breath has disappeared. I'm afraid he has fallen." Lu Dongbin, "For the time being." Xuanwu, "For the time being?" Lu Dongbin looked in the direction of King Feng area. "Now it depends on my stupid apprentice. If he misses this opportunity, King Lang will be completely naturalized. If so, I will take back King Lang's dragon seedling and nourish it again." Xuanwu heard that Lu Dongbin knew about King Lang's current situation. It seems that this time is King Lang's disaster. Zook immediately asked, "If it succeeds, will Azure Dragon return?" In response to Zook's question, Lu Dongbin said, "By then, Azure Dragon will transform, and the 4 Saint Seals will be completed." Chapter 300, Brother Jiangxing, are you? In the King Feng area, the white tiger rushed forward all the way. As a divine beast, it was easy for him to cross a region, but in order to take care of the creatures born and raised in the King Feng area below, the white tiger could only worry. Liangting looked at Yu Jian, who was sitting in front of her, and sighed. She didn't believe that Long Kui, who often chatted in Jiu Xiangsun, died just like that. The realism of this game is comparable to reality. Whether it is the game plot or the NPC in the game, it can make players feel emotional. Gently stroking Long Kui's cheek, the tears on Yi Jian's face and the blood on Long Kui's body seemed to never dry. The white tiger saw that the speed of the creatures below began to slow down, knowing that they had almost reached the destination. Liangting stood up and saw countless creatures in the King Feng area surrounding a lake in front of her, and the lake was flashing with blue lightning. There were also several Chinese server players standing near the lake. Obviously, they also found it strange after exploring this place, so they were waiting for Liangting to come. This energy fluctuation is the same as King Lang. The white tiger reminded Liangting softly. Same as King Lang? Is this King Feng area related to King Lang? Could this lake be the key to breaking the deadlock? Liangting looked at Yu Jian and shouted to him, "Jiangxing, where is Jizai's dragon seedling?" Yu Jian raised his head and looked at Liangting, who explained, "This lake may be related to King Lang. Take out King Lang's dragon seedling and see if there is any reaction." Yi Jian jumped down with Long Kui on his back. When he got close to the lake, he took out the dragon seedling from Long Kui's mouth and handed it to Liangting. Seeing the dragon seedling appear, the creatures surrounding the lake were extremely excited. Beihu also looked at the dragon seedling with a fascinated expression in his eyes. Liangting took the dragon seedling and squatted down to soak it in the lake with lightning. The next moment, the dragon seedling soaked in the water emitted a cyan glow. Before the surrounding creatures and players could react, Beihu suddenly looked up at the sky with an ecstatic expression in his eyes. This breath. It's the Azure Dragon. In the clouds in the sky, a dragon-shaped shadow loomed. Liangting stood up and looked up, asking at a loss, "Is he the Azure Dragon?" Beihu, "It's just the dragon energy of the Azure Dragon. The Azure Dragon's dragon energy must be combined with the dragon seedling to be the real Azure Dragon." Liangting also knew from Yu Jian that, just like the origin of the chicken before, it was the combination of the Azure Dragon's dragon seedling and the dragon energy of the fallen evil dragon in the extremely cold region. At this moment, the current dragon energy is the authentic Azure Dragon energy. The clouds in the sky suddenly shone a strong light, reflecting on the dragon seedling soaked in the water. The dragon seedling slowly rose, and the round cyan structure became brighter and brighter. Just when all the creatures and players were staring at the dragon seedling in the air, only Yu Jian noticed that the originally dead Long Kui was gradually emitting green light. Yu Jian hurriedly helped Long Kui up, nervous and at a loss. When the sunlight dimmed, the dragon seedling slowly floated towards Long Kui. Yu Jian seemed to have guessed something. His eyes showed a look of surprise, and his hands trembled slightly. The dragon seedling directly sank into the wound on Long Kui's chest and disappeared, and then there was no movement. Liangting and the players around were puzzled. Gone. Gone just now. Where is King Lang? Designer, are you lazy and didn't have time to get the CG done? Exclamation mark. Yi Jian also changed from a look of surprise and expectation to a daze. Shouldn't Long Kui be resurrected? Exclamation mark. Slightly shook Long Kui. Long Kui, don't sleep anymore. Wake up, okay? Open your eyes and look at me. The next second, the shaken Long Kui turned directly into a light spot and disappeared, as if it had never existed. This situation caught all the creatures on the field off guard. Which step went wrong? Why is this happening? Baihu didn't know why this happened. Although they were all 4 sacred beasts, he only knew how to fight. Whenever there was a fight among the 4 sacred beasts, he would always be the first to rush to the front. Zook was the least afraid of death, but the most cowardly. Xuanwu had the strongest defense and the highest wisdom, but he didn't like fighting. Qinglang was the most mysterious. Apart from Xuanwu, Baihu and Zook didn't know whether Qinglang was a man or a woman. They didn't know much about it. They only knew that Qinglang was the most mysterious and powerful of the 4 sacred beasts. The expectations of the players and Baihu were shattered, and the atmosphere froze for a moment. However, the creatures around the lake suddenly shouted to the sky and made all kinds of roars. While the players and Baihu were still wondering why these guys suddenly wailed, Yi Jian suddenly felt the call of his heart. He turned his head blankly and looked at the lake flashing with lightning. A figure was slowly floating up. Seeing the familiar figure emerging from the lake, Yi Jian took a deep breath, and the whole person suddenly had a soul and stood up and smiled foolishly. The players and Baihu also found the figure on the lake. Liang Ting shouted happily, Long Kui. The players were all very surprised. They looked at Yi Jian intentionally or unintentionally. They were a little envious of this silly boy. He usually put on airs, but now he smiled like a fool. Let's see if he will pretend in the future. They either secretly took screenshots or opened the live broadcast room for other players to watch. Baihu sniffed and muttered with complicated eyes, Qinglang, it turns out to be a woman. The players immediately. What does it mean? Realizing who Baihu was talking about, they looked at the familiar Long Kui in a daze. No way. Long Kui, Qinglang of the 4 divine beasts, realm, late Shengming. This scene happened to be seen by the audience in the live broadcast room, and the entire Chinese server was shocked instantly. What the hell? This guy's 8 years old? No, isn't this Long Kui? Why is it Qinglang? No way. Shouldn't this be my Jiangxing's wife? Resurrection? Filming a zombie movie? It's terrible. Jiangxing and Long Kui are dating. Is it considered a human-animal relationship? Don't say it. I already have the picture in my head. Wow. Xuanwu is in the late stage of the gods. Suzaku and White Tiger are at the peak of the gods. And Qinglang is directly in the late stage of Shengming. So are our Chinese servers about to welcome the second gigolo? Wu Yiko. 1 song, 1 post, 1 content, 1 book, 1 bar. I'm touched by the connotation. On the lake of Lanqi Tower, seeing all the creatures around him staring at him, he was at a loss for a moment. When he saw Yi Jian in front, he rushed over and hugged him tightly, shouting in a trembling voice, Brother Jiangxing. Yi Jian was stunned for a moment after being attacked by Lanqi, and then he also hugged Lanqi tightly. Liang Ting, the players around him, and the audience watching the live broadcast all smiled like ants. They finally saw the ending. It was not easy. Close are the picture. I have rewarded you. Don't shake the camera. I unfollowed you. This is my old girlish heart. Let's discuss what the child should be named. I think the gift should be at least 100,000 soul points. What a gift. The players in the Chinese server are all considered the male party. Okay. How can you ask yourself for a gift? From today on, I'm a player in the extremely cold region. As the female party's relatives and friends, please speak well to the male members. White Tiger stared at Qinglang being intimate with the human creatures in amazement, muttering to himself, is this our elusive boss? Long Kui raised her head with red eyes and stared at Yi Jian, who was hugging her, shyly but sadly asking, Brother Jiangxing, wasn't I killed? Are you dead too? The players around him suddenly. Didn't you just see me? According to what you mean, we are also dead in your eyes? Yi Jian shook his head. No, Long Kui is not dead. I'm not dead. No one is dead. Long Kui buried her head in Yi Jian's chest and asked weakly, Brother Jiangxing, when I fell down before, did you touch my chest at that time? As soon as Long Kui asked this question, Yi Jian, The players on the scene, the audience in the live broadcast room, and White Tiger all said collectively, "I was pressing my chest to save your life." Yi Jian roared in his heart, but the players were already looking at him with tinted glasses. Is this guy a pervert? Long Kui fell down and still touched others. At the same time, the 6 members of the corpse clan were struggling to resist the corpse gas that erupted from the dead. They were screaming in their hearts, "How long will it take for the human race to find a solution? We can't hold on any longer." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.